not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California, the first and only webcast of real action cash game poker. My name's Bart Hanson. I'm here with Dave Tuckman. What a doozy of a game we have tonight. $25.50 unrestricted buy-in, $3,000 minimum. Gigantic game. Huge. We got Frank Mariani and Yosh on the table. We got the return of Ed Shanazarian.
Where has Ed been?
And an interesting note, David Kelsey, who we sometimes see on the show in the 3-5 game, is playing in this game.
Yeah. Obviously, not the money is not the issue. It's really what the game is going to play.
So let's get over to the table and let's start this thing.
Let's do it. Seat number one, we've got the aforementioned Yosh Nakano.
There he is, drinking the wine.
And I guess he just won a big pot because I saw him just earlier, and now he's got a lot more chips than he just had. Seat number two, we have Ed Shanazarian. Seat number three, we've got Frank Mariani. There's Fred. Frank.
Looks like Frank's putting the rest of his chips in here against Barry Woods.
He does. Wow. We got to get to this hand, actually. This is a really interesting hand. Why don't we go to the rest? Just so you know, Barry's got queens here.
Yep. And
the
Frank,
board is 3, 4, 5, and Frank's got sixes.
Yeah, and they're all in here. And Frank has the nuts right now. Frank has the nuts.
No, not yet. He's got sixes.
He's got 6-7, Dave, doesn't he?
No. Oh, he does. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought he had
he's got 6-7.
sixes.
No, he's got 6-7. He flopped the straight. And Barry Woods here is going to lose a big pot.
Okay, I thought he had six. I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah. All right, let's move over here to seat 4.
Yeah, let's do that. Sorry about that.
Yep.
Seat number 4, we've got David Kelsey.
Yep.
And Kelsey's got about $3,900 in front of him. And like you said, Kelsey will play the 3-5 game, play the 500 game, and he'll play as high as this, I guess.
Right.
Seat number 5, we've got West Hollywood Henry, and he's got the Dude's drink. Looks like he's got a White Russian in his hands.
Yep.
And can't see exactly how much money he's got behind him. Looks like about $9,000 though. Barry Woods there, seat number 6. He's taken a couple of bad beats already. I know that.
Yeah, and Henry told me that he already doubled through Barry.
Yeah.
So
okay. So he's already doubled through there, and now obviously Frank Mariani doubles off Barry. So Barry is everybody's bitch tonight.
Yeah.
Seat number 7, we've got Hollywood Russ, sporting the the Western shirt there.
Yep.
The Fu Manchu look there. I like it. Seat number 8, we've got John. He's a new player. I've actually recognized playing with him, but he's new to Live at the Bike.
Yep.
Be interested to see how he plays tonight. And seat number 9, we've got everybody's favorite. We've got Mo.
This is going to be a hell of a night.
Yeah, this is a great game. We haven't seen Ed here, Ed Shanazarian, play on seat 2. We haven't seen him here in probably, 6 weeks?
Yep. As always, you want to keep the show interactive, you can email us at liveatthebike.com. Also, check out a live thread that's started on the internet and go to 2plus2.com. Go over to forums, go over to Tournament Poker, World Poker Tour, etc. Official Live the Bike thread for March 29th. And you might want to check out Full Contact Poker, Danny Negreano's site. They might start one over there as well. I'll check it out.
I got that. I love this. I used to look forward to Friday nights, and I still do. But Wednesday nights, I love them.
Yeah.
25-50 blinds. Man, this game is big.
Well, let's get in the first hand of the night here. Barry Woods has the button. And Yosh Nakano, boy, we're going to deal with this all night. He already doesn't have his cards up correctly. Limp here. We got aces right off the bat here for Mo. And it looked like he made it. I think Mo limped. And Ed has raised here with ace-8. So Mo has limped under the gun with aces. And we're probably going to see a big re-raise here because we've got 3 callers already to Ed's hand.
Wow, and
Now Russ calls.
Mo might just move in.
Yeah, he's kind of short. He's going to raise here.
He might just move all in. He's only got 2,000 left.
There's already 900 in the pot. Yeah, and he's just going to move the rest in here. Well, wait a minute. Let's see. Let's see here. Again, there's about 800 or 900 in dead money.
Yeah, and he's going to move all in. And you know what's funny here? I don't know if anybody's going to call him, but Mo actually makes this move sometimes with ace-3. We've seen him do that.
Especially if he's on the short stack.
Yeah.
He's moved all in here for 1,800, which means the pot is about 3,000 or about 2,800, 1,800 for Ed to call.
I bet you if Barry had like ace 10 or ace queen, say,
Yeah.
or Corporation Mike with this game, and he had ace jack, he'd call. Look, Frank Mariani's thinking about it.
I mean, he's got 8-9 offsuit here.
Yeah, he's not going to get involved. Nobody calls. And Mo actually had it this time.
Yep. Mo's going to take it down there. Mo's saying for $100, he's going to show him the hand.
So I rushed from the table to the candy store. I like to give all the players some candy, keep the energy up. And then rushed into the booth. Man, I'm excited about this.
Button's going to move over here to seat 7, Hollywood Russ. Again, we're playing 25-50 no-limit hold'em. Unrestricted buy-in, the white chips are hundreds, the purples are 25s. If you see big chips, they're thousands. We have some $5,000 chips on the table. We're going to see a straddle here by Yoshi Nakano in seat number 1.
And that makes this game even bigger.
So it's going to be $100 to call. If you want to know what a straddle is, you can head over to liveatthebike.com. Check out As Seen On live at the bike. Now, Mo's got pocket 10s here in the big blind. And Barry Woods is going to raise. He's raising with a good old 7-deuce offsuit for $350 here out of seat 6.
Oh, man.
And let's see what Mo's going to do. Mo's going to call. Yoshi's got 5-3 offsuit, and he's going to make the call.
Wow, and this pot is what, about $2,000 ready?
About $1,100.
Oh, $1,100.
Yeah,
I thought you raised-
350 three ways. Here we go to the
Thank
flop. Ace 4-5, not a good flop here for Mo. But he's going to come out and lead. He's going to bet 400, see where he's at, and Yoshi's going to call.
Wow.
And now for Barry, I think it's an easy fold. He gets out of there. And now we've got a pot that's about $2,000. Here we go to the turn. The turn's a queen. And it looks like Mo is checked. And let's see if Yoshi here is going to represent. He's going to bet here. He's going to bet 2,000. He's betting about the size of the pot, and Mo quickly folds.
And Yoshi earns himself a pot there.
And there it is.
3-5 offsuit.
Yep,
Always tough to play those 10s out of position.
absolutely.
I was actually wondering, I wanted to see if Mo would make the same move 2 times in a row.
Right. Button's going to move over that new player, John, in seat 8. And looks like Yoshi's got the big blind here in seat 1.
Yeah. Ed is not going to straddle.
Again, the seating goes around like a clock here from this view.
Who has a clock anymore? Isn't it all digital?
Clockwise, 1-2. Got a little raise here by Frank Mariani. He's going to make it 150 to go. He's got pocket 5s. You sometimes talk about kind of a little small stop raise, but it's a little dangerous from up front. Now, West Hollywood Henry's got pocket 7. He's going to make a smooth call here in seat 5. Looks like Russ might enter the pot here.
Really?
He's going to make the call. We haven't seen what he has yet.
He's got...
King-Jack offsuit. And Yoshi's got King-Queen offsuit in the big blind, and he's going to make the call. So here we go, 150 times 4.
How about like a King 7-5 flop? How'd that do?
$600 pot, and here we go. Well, there's a 7 in the door, and Yoshi has top pair. So Henry's flop, bottom
I
set
tell you,
here.
it's Henry's night so far, huh?
And Frank Mariani's going to bet 400 here as a little continuation bet. And let's see how Henry's going to play it. It is a rainbow board, somewhat connected with the straight cards out
And
there.
Yoshi's, he was waiting for a check raise there.
And actually, excuse me, it was Henry. Henry bet. Frank actually checks. Henry bet, and Yoshi's going to check raise here, 2,000 with King Queen. And Henry's got him here. Yoshi's check raise.
Yoshi's in terrible shape.
2,000 with King Queen.
Now, Mike, you just smooth call this. Remember, you're in position on him.
I believe he's moved all in. He's going to move all in. The pot is already 5,000, and Yosh doesn't even wait to fold there. And Henry's going to take it down.
Okay, I love playing things fast. But what are you scared of? What, you think he's making that move with 9-10?
It was a rainbow board.
I just don't understand. I mean, if you're out of position, it's a different thing, but he's in position.
Right.
I mean,
I got to tell you, we know these players kind of like the back of our hands. We've seen Yosh play so many times. I think if Henry calls there, Yosh check folds on the turn regardless of what comes out. I
that
just
might
don't
be the
buy it.
case, but I'm
Yeah.
not going to move in there.
Well.
You move in there? The set of 7s? Board of Queen 8-7 rainbow?
He did play it a little fast. Yeah. We got a raise here by Barry Woods. He's going to make it 250 to go with pocket nines. And Frank Mariani's got a deuce 4 suited. He's going to make the call. And we're going to see about a $550 pot heads up here between Barry and Frank Mariani. Here we go. Wow, Frank's flopped the flush draw. Now Barry's got a middle set here.
We got some big hands so far, huh? Sets, aces, flush draws. If you don't want to slow play this too much, don't let him get there, Barry.
Barry's going to bet 200 here into a $500 pot, and Frank is going to call.
Now the board pairs here and a spade comes out. We could get fireworks.
Turns a 7. It's a $900 pot. And looks like Mariani's going to throw a little stop bet in here. He's going to bet 400 on the turn. Let's see if Barry's going to raise him. And Barry is just going to make the call.
No, he falls for it. Frank sets him up on that one.
$1,700 pot to the river. With the river's a 10. It fills Barry up.
And I got excited for a second. I knew it was a black 10. I thought maybe it was 10 of spades.
And Frank's going to bet. He's going to bet 700. I think this is an easy raise, hoping for a call from a 10. And Barry's going to move all in. And Frank has absolutely nothing, and he's most likely going to fold here.
Yeah.
Most likely. What am I talking about? Of course he's going to fold.
Hey, you never know.
Yep.
He can beat nothing.
Right.
His 4 plays.
Again, you can email us at liveatthebike.com. Questions, comments, suggestions.
I mean, I don't want to harp on it because you and I always talk about playing things fast. And I have no problem with raising. I have no problem with building a pot. But why do you want to scare somebody off when you have a set there? I mean, what are you going to get called by? You're playing against Yosh Nakano there. Are you going to get called by a queen? There's no chance you get called by a queen. The only hand you can get called by there, when you have a set of 7s, is a bigger set.
Or maybe top 2.
Queen 8?
I mean,
maybe,
I
suppose.
wasn't blind. It is a little bit of a stretch.
I suppose. I mean, why not smooth call there? See if he leads out again. If he doesn't lead out, you might even trap him and check one more time, and then bet on the river. You might build a pot and put in a $1,500 bet. Who knows? There's a lot of ways to play it. I just don't know why you want to scare out an opponent when you got him on the, you got him by the balls. Keep him there.
Barry's limped in here with Big Lick, 96 offsuit. And seed 8 here is going to raise it up to 300. He's got ace-king offsuit. That's John. And Mariani's going to call with a 7-4 suited here. And Ed Shanazarian is in there with king 10. He's got a dominated king 10 here. If a king comes out, we could see some fireworks. Here we go. Well, Jack 9-6, and Frank dropped another flush draw.
Wow, and, Barry's got to be kicking himself because he raised it with 9-6.
Yeah. And he actually limped. Now, he got checked around here.
He did limp. Okay, thank you.
Got checked around, and now Ed is going to bet with a gut shot to the queen when the board pairs. He's going to bet 500 here.
But John did not bet the flop.
Nope.
In position.
Frank's going to fold, and look at that. Ed is going to take it down there. Nice hand there by Ed.
Yeah, well played.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really surprised that, John, you raised there with ace-king.
Yep.
2 players call, pretty much the blinds call you. Why not put a little continuation bet, see where you're at? This is always a way to play the hand, though.
Yep.
Yes, thank you.
Button's going to move over here to Ed in seat number 2.
She's coming around.
King, queen suited here for Frank Mariotti. And look at this. Barry Woods is going to raise here to 175. He's got ace-jack suited.
He's got the best hand right now.
Ed's got a suited ace-5 here on the button.
And Frank Mariani's got king-queen clubs. I mean, you know he's going to play.
Except Hollywood Henry's girlfriend.
How would you characterize Frank's play in seat number 3?
I think he calls a lot of hands. You might want to, make a lot of value bets against him.
I mean, obviously the money doesn't mean anything to him. He's here to have a good time. He's a gambler.
3-way action here. Here we go. About a $500 pot. Flop comes out 10-9-8 rainbow.
Well, it's not a terrible flop for Barry. There's open-ended straight draw with overcards.
Backdoor flush draw as well.
Yeah.
Now, Frank's got the gut shot to the jack with overcards.
Right, obviously Barry does not want to catch a jack.
And Barry's going to bet 900 here.
It's a nice, strong bet. Now, Frank's got backdoor clubs. He's got a gut shot with the overcards. Now, his queen is no good, but if he catches a jack or a king, it would be good. And he's going to call. Wow.
Wow.
And this pot is quickly, what, about 2,700?
2,300?
23,
Yep.
okay. My pot sizes are totally off today.
Turns a 3. It's a blank. How is Barry going to play this now? Is he going to take the card in position?
Well, I think against Frank, you've got to bet this, hoping that, well, okay.
Check, check. And here we go to the river. The river's a 6. Both players have missed. And is Frank going to throw a little bluff bet out there? It's 1 card to a straight.
And this is the problem. Now, are you going to call this with ace-jack?
Frank is going to bet 1,600 here. I really don't mind the check there by Barry
Really?
with the draw. Of course.
Against Frank.
Yeah.
Why couldn't Frank be in there with a jack? Why couldn't Frank be in there with a draw? Just overcards. You don't know against a player like that. I'm just throwing that out at you. A player like Ed or a player like Frank in this case. Look at him. He's calling with king-queen, and now you put yourself in a spot where you can get bluffed out on the river. I mean, Barry's induced that bluff, right?
Barry folds.
I mean, the
And
reason...
King-Queen is just about the only thing that Barry could beat there on
Yeah,
the
but
river.
one of the reasons I also like betting there on the turn, might you get, say, queen 9 out or 8, you know what I mean? Some sort of like lingering pair that, you know, if you bet hard on the turn, maybe he goes, you know what? Maybe I'm not good. I mean, it almost looked like Frank was going to fold on the flop. That's the only reason why I say you got to put some pressure on him.
Barry usually does play pretty aggressive post-flop, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the check, but you've got to realize that if you're checking the turn, you are inducing a bluff, and is ace-jack good enough to call that induced bluff? I'm not sure.
The answer to that is no.
No, exactly. In this case, it is no.
Limped around here, 4-way action. It's a $200 pot. Here we go to the flop. Ace, queen, jack with a couple clubs. Well, Kelsey's got a low flush draw over there in seat 4.
Now, if he bets this strong, he should take it down. The only player who has anything is Barry. He's got a jack 6, though.
Boy, Barry has some balls. He's going to come out and bet that flop. And look at this. Mo raises. Barry bets and Mo raises to 500. Reading Barry Woods like a book here with pocket threes. Unbelievable.
Now, the question is, now, what is Kelsey going to do here with a club draw?
Well, he's just got a dry club draw, as we say. No other real draw.
He knows Barry really well. He knows Barry could have absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
He also knows Mo might have not much. You know, you never know. Mo could have ace 5.
And this is probably going to go fold.
Yeah.
Barry really has an extremely weak hand, and it does.
And
We
Mo
got
picks it
our
up.
first email of the night here, Dave, by Paul Sweeney. It says, would you tell a novice exactly what do you mean by fold equity? Is fold equity one of the terms that we have defined on As Seen As Live?
We don't have that on there?
We're going to put that up there.
Yeah, well, first of all, Paul, do me a favor. Go to liveatthebike.com and go to As Seen. On the left-hand side, there's As Seen on Live at the Bike. And there's a bunch of terminology that we frequently use on the show.
Yeah.
And check those out. But we don't have fold equity on there, so we will get that up.
Look at this. Barry Woods has picked up a couple of cowboys here in the small blind in seat 6. And look at this. Ace-King for Ed Shanazarian in seat 2.
Oh, man.
Mo is limped in with ace-jack offsuit. And Ed is just going to limp. And sometimes Ed plays this like Corporation Mike. He might pull the limp re-raise with ace-king.
He might. Now, Barry's not usually out of line, out of position. Now, he's raising in the big blind. And usually when Barry's going to raise and he's kind of full of shit, it's usually in position.
And he's only raised it up to 175. And look at this. I called it. Ed's going to re-raise here to 400. He pulls the limp re-raise here. So it's 400 back to Barry. Now, how is Barry going to play
I
it?
think he's just going to call.
And that's probably easily going to get Mo out of the hand, I would imagine. I mean, ace-jack offsuit.
Yeah, against those two players,
Yep.
it's one of those things where there's no fold equity. It's not like he can move in and get these guys off the hands.
And Mo is going to call. I'm really surprised
And
here.
Mo is in terrible shape, obviously. Mo's ace is no good. His jack is no good. He needs some sort of straight or running jacks.
1,200 here to the flop. And look at this. Barry flops top side.
Uh-oh, Ed's dead.
And Mo's got a gut shot. And the case-king comes out on the flop.
Oh, my gosh, Ed is dead.
And Barry checks it. And Mo's going to bet the gut shot. He's going to bet 200. And Ed just calls. Now, if you're Barry, it's a rainbow board, but I imagine he's going to put a strong check raise in here, and he does.
Well, the nice thing about it is he plays his strong hands this way. He
Yeah.
also bluffs this way. It's one of the reasons he gets actions, and I don't know if Ed can get away from this.
He made a mini re-raise to 400, and Ed is going to make the call. And we've got about a $2,500 pot going to the turn. The turn's a deuce.
Oh, that's a beautiful card.
And Barry's
Barry's
going to move all in.
Yeah, Ed is drawing dead.
And Ed beats him in the pot with his chips.
And Ed is drawing dead.
Looks like Ed might only have another 1,000 left, and this is going to be a $4,000 of $5,000 pot here for top set Barry Woods with kings.
Yeah. Well, welcome back to the bike, Ed.
Unbelievable.
We've missed you.
Here, folks. Wow.
Yeah, and you know, you can't really blame Ed in this case. Against Barry,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tough hand. But the one thing you've got to realize, though, if Barry's showing a lot of strength in the big blinds, he probably has a pretty good hand.
Yeah.
He's not going to he's not going to mess around like he does with 7 deuce in position. Now, the flop comes out king, queen, 7. You have ace, king. You're not necessarily going to put your opponent on kings, but you still can't beat aces. Remember that? And now you can't beat queens.
Queens is another possibility as well, right?
And that's what you've got to think of. You've got to go, what? You've got to start putting your opponent on a hand. Now, you know it is Barry, but still, he's probably got a pretty good hand there.
Right.
Now, will he play jacks that strong? Probably not. I mean, a board is king-queen.
I've seen Barry raise out of the blind, like a little mini raise with king-queen suited as well. I mean, that's
Okay,
one
well, then you can't
possibility
beat that
as well.
either. I mean, the only hand, you think about a hand that he's playing strong there, there's really no hand you can beat if he's playing it strong.
Dave, we are limped here between the small blind and the big blind. 4-9 suited in pocket fours. Check, check on the flop. The turn's a jack. Check, check on the turn. And the river's an 8. This
Fours are gonna win.
Yeah, fours are going to win here.
Take it down, John.
$100 pot. Now, this game at this level is not a rake game. It is a collection game. I believe it's $12 per player per half an hour. And the way that we do collection games here at the bike is we have a pot collection hand, basically. And the winner of the pot collection hand, which you'll see sometimes with that yellow disc, will pay the collection for the entire table if the pot is, say, over $500.
I think it is, in this game, I think it's actually $450.
Okay.
But it's somewhere right around there. I mean, it's either way.
Yep. And Gore, we're getting word, is going to play over Hollywood Henry while he eats. So Gore's going to play over Hollywood Henry in seat 5.
What a night of poker.
Straddled pot here by Yosh. Now, Mo's got king 6 in the big blind. He's just going to fold, and Yosh is going to take down the
I
straddle.
got to tell you, we are so lucky. I mean, we actually make money. We get paid to watch this game and talk about it.
Yep.
How cool is that? Man, I got to tell you.
I get an email here from Tony D. He says, hey, guys, I've read on your site the definition of a live straddle. But is it only something that you guys do at the bike, or is it a common thing to have happen in all casinos? Do they ever do it in tournaments?
It's not allowed in tournaments.
It's not allowed in tournaments, but you know, it's not an exclusive thing to the bike.
No, it's actually done in almost all casinos in the world.
Yep.
And some casinos allow them in limit games as well. Our casino only allows them in no limit games.
Right. You cannot do it in a game of limit here at the bike.
Yeah, some casinos will even allow it a Mississippi straddle, which I'll explain later.
Russ is going to raise here to 225 in the cutoff. He's got pocket jacks, and we're not going to see a flop.
Now, I wanted to answer that last guy's question, Paul Sweeney. He wants to know what fold equity was. And generally, fold equity is, let's say fold equity is basically what percentage of the time your opponent might fold when you bet. It's one of the reasons we're strong advocates for being betting or raising and not just calling. Because if you call somebody, there's only one way to win the pot. You have to have the best hand. But if you're betting or you're raising, well, there's two ways to win the pot. You can either have the best hand or your opponent can fold, hence fold equity. So oftentimes if you're raising with a big draw, we'll talk about it saying, we'll actually reference and go, well, there is pretty good strong fold equity here. And hey, if you get called, you still got to draw. Hope that helps.
Frank Mariani in the big blind here. And Russ is going to raise with ace-10 offsuit to 225. And Frank's got the speed limit. He's got pocket 5s, and he's going to make the call. And we're heads up here. King 6-4 rainbow. Not a good flop for 5s. And looks like Russ is going to make the continuation bet here.
It's a part of Russ's game that he's actually improved over the last couple of weeks, I've noticed. Oftentimes heads up when Russ has the betting lead. If he misses, he'll check it.
Russ has bet 400 here on the flop.
Which obviously puts him in a tough spot.
Frank is going to get away from it.
Nice bet by Russ.
Anybody not familiar with Frank Mariani, one of the owners and partners of Jerry Buss of the Lakers.
Yeah. The less known one.
Yeah. There he is. He's been playing, him and Jerry Buss have been playing poker for a long time here at the bike. Goes back many, many years, even before the poker boom, Dave. 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah. He's quite a character.
Yep.
And a real nice guy.
Button's going to move over here to Yoshi Nakano, our host of a high-limit mixed game. Usually he'll be running a 300, 600 mixed game here. Mo's got ace-jack offsuit in the cutoff seat in seat number 9. Barry Woods is going to limp in with a 6-7 offsuit, and Mo's going to raise it up here to 200. Frank Mariani quickly calls with a 3-5 offsuit here from the small blind. We have not seen Kelsey play a hand in seat 4 yet. And Barry calls as well. So here we go, $600. Mo the pre-flop raiser. Queen 9-4 misses everyone. See if Mo throws that continuation bet in here.
And he's in position. I imagine he will.
I imagine it's going to get checked over to him.
And sure enough, he's going to put a bet in there, and he's going to take it down.
$500 bet, and that's good enough. He takes it down.
Now, Kelsey, the interesting thing is we were saying how he plays a lot of the 300 to 500 games. He plays a 500 game occasionally. I know he plays home games with Barry Woods sometimes. And you wonder, and I don't want to guess, I really have no idea his financial situation, but you wonder if this is a little bit out of his comfort zone. I'm just curious. I have no idea. We haven't seen him play a hand yet.
I mean, the time that you played the 25-50 game when it was a little short-handed, I think you played well, but you kind of admitted it was a little bit out of your comfort zone, right?
Definitely in a short-handed game it was,
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'd be a lot more comfortable now having a couple more months of experience playing higher, no limit, especially in a full ring game where you don't have to mix it up every other hand. You're playing six-handed, obviously, you got to play a lot more hands.
Buttons moved over here to Frank Mariani in seat number 3.
I mean, in the end, there's nothing wrong with a game being out of your comfort zone. You know, if you're worried about the money, then you shouldn't be playing in that game.
It's going to get folded to Frank here on the button. Barry limped in with an 8-9 of clubs. And Frank's going to throw a little, looks like, $100 raise in here. Actually, it makes it $225. Gore folds, and Barry's going to call heads up with 8-9 of clubs.
Well, he's behind, but he's got a pretty good hand.
Yep. Here we go. Well, 10-10-5 here.
Well, Barry checks, and Frank throws a continuation bet out there. He'll probably take it down.
275.
Look at this, though. Barry's going to bet right into that board. And Frank's on it there.
Yeah, well, nice bet by Barry.
Yep.
And we've seen Barry and Frank go. I think this is like round number 3 with those two guys.
Yep.
Get word that I think Gore is buying in for $3,400. I think it's a little short in this game.
Remember, the minimum in this game is 3,000, and the blinds are 25.50. So
you're talking about 60 times the blind, big blinds. I really like to have at least 100 times big blinds. And I've said that a couple of times. Like if you're playing in the 5-10 game, I think you need 1,000, 10-20, 2,000. This game, I really think 5,000 is the minimum, especially when you take into account some players might straddle once in a while.
150.
got a raise here by Mo. He's going to make it 150 to go out of seat 9. And he's got king, queen off suit. Frank Mariani's going to call him with the same hand here, Dave. King, queen off suit in seat 3.
Well, the odds are a king or a queen won't come.
And Kelsey's in the hand. He's on the button. He's made the call with jack 8 of clubs in seat 4.
It's kind of a smallish raise. He's on the button. Be interested to see how he plays. Kelsey's a pretty good player.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he'll really mix it up in the 3-5 game. I can't imagine he's going to do it that much here.
Here we go. 500 3 ways, and Mo hits top pair, and so does Mariani in seat 3.
Now, neither player has a heart, so neither player's on a free roll.
Mo's going to bet 400, about the size of the pot. We talk about the problem with king, queen offsuit, as it can easily be a dominated hand, especially against Mo. If he shows a lot of strength, he could be up against ace, king, or aces.
Well,
Turns the queen. Now both players have top 2. It's a third heart.
Yeah, now exactly. There's a flush draw out there. Neither player has a heart, though. But they don't know that.
It's a $1,300 pot, and Mo bets 1,000, and I think Mariani's going to raise him here. And it's a third heart. Now, Mo is kind of short here, but he's got to be worried about the flush.
He does, but I don't know if he can get away from it at this point. Look how much money he's got left.
Yeah, he's going to make the call here, and
He's only got about 800 left.
Yeah, they're going to chop it up.
Well, how about that?
Rivers is 6, and this one's going to go chop, chop.
Now, this is one of those times where if you've got, if both players, say, had ace king here,
Yep.
and one player had a heart and the other player didn't have a heart, obviously you're on a complete free roll.
Right.
And you want to get as much money as you can in there on the free roll. Oh.
Yeah, it looks like we got word that Gil has been eliminated from the tournament in Reno here.
Came in 11th place. Hey, nice finish for him. Nice going. Would have liked to see him go on TV, though.
Yep. Well, let's take a look at the first chip count of the night here. We've got over 50,000 on the table.
And the game just started. Wow.
Well, I think we did a beginning chip count right before the show started, so let's take a look at the differences here.
Yeah. Paboof. Shazam. There it is.
Oh, Yosh is up almost 3,000 here. Ed down almost 6,000.
Now, the one player on there that's actually taking a break because Gore's playing over him is
Right.
Henry, and he's probably up about $5,000, $4,000.
Yeah, he is up. He's probably the big winner so far.
When you think about it, Yosh gave him about 2,800,
Yeah.
and he's still up 2,800.
Looks like we're going to see 6-way action here, limped around, I believe. Well, let's see. Looks like 4. Well, Barry's going to raise. He's
Wow.
going to make it with Jack 10 of hearts. He's going to raise.
Maybe senses a little bit of weakness. Maybe he can pick up the dead money.
And that is a collection pot. Now, Barry's not going to have to play the collection because we do not.
It didn't reach the
Funny is, let me ask you this question.
What?
I don't know the answer to it. If you don't see a flop and the pot is over 500, do you play the collection pot? I don't know the answer to that. Maybe Donna can ask Yosh or Mo, the host of the game, that question. Button's going to move over here.
Yeah, I
to
imagine
seat
there
6.
has to. I think there has to be a flop.
Button's over here in Barry Woods' hand. We got a limp here by Gore with 7-10 of diamonds in the
Good
cutoff.
question, though.
Yeah. Russ is going to call. And Russ is really making it difficult for us over there in seat 7. Oh, he's got his cards up now. 10-5-5 on the flop. Well, Gore's got top pair and no one else has anything.
Yeah. Look at those rags out there. Deuce 4, 4, 9, 7, 10.
Yep. Gore's going to bet 100 here, and he's going to take it down without resistance. So we're getting word that anytime the pot,
Is over $600.
yep,
You have to pay the collection.
regardless if there's a flop
Right.
or not.
So theoretically, if somebody were to raise it up to 150, you get 4 callers.
Yeah.
And then you moved all in. Well, you have to pay a collection there.
Got a post here by Baron Vanger Toth regarding that hand, Dave, with Barry with the kings and Ed with ace king. With the stack sizes that Ed had, I have no problem the way that Ed played that hand.
No, oh.
Baron Vanger Toth says, I would have laid down ace king down if Ed's against Barry in quotations mark. People who think that are deluding themselves, and I agree with you. Stack sizes, there's no way Ed's going anywhere with those stack sizes, and I don't think we were saying that.
No.
Yeah.
It was more of just pointing out when you were up against a player.
Right.
In that one case, Ed against Barry, Ed's only got $2,500.
Oh, yeah.
There's, like I said right away, I said Ed's dead here.
Yeah.
There's no way he's not going broke.
And he
I
should
probably,
go broke with
yeah,
that- with the
and I
stack
probably
size.
would have, and so would you.
Yeah,
Because by the time you figure out that this guy's got you beat, you're probably pot committed.
absolutely.
We were just pointing out that there was a chance. You've got to start thinking of the hands Barry has, and can you beat any of them?
Now, Frank Mariani has raised here to 250, and Kelsey's got ace-king offsuit. And I think he might throw a re-raise in here in seat 4. He's cutting out some chips here.
Well, he's got a pretty tight image. He hasn't played a hand yet.
And there he goes. He says raise. He's going to make it 500 more here. Now, again, you might have a player like a Frank or an Ed might call you with pocket fives here. And, boy, if the board comes out blank, you just don't know where you're at.
No, you have
Gonna
no
be
idea.
interesting. Now, Kelsey has position here on. And look at that. Frank makes the quick call here.
Well, I mean, think about it. He's already in there for a couple of hundred. So now it's 300 to win 1,000. He's getting 3 to 1 on his money.
Well, there's the ace. It's a $1,000 pot here. Kelsey's got top pair. And when I say Kelsey, I'm referring to David Kelsey in seat 4. Gets checked to him. It's a $1,000 pot here.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to bet a big amount here. And he'll probably go bet fold. There are some guys that just have last names that are conducive to saying them. Kelsey's one of them.
Yep. He's got that 1,500 here.
Well, into about a, $1,100 pot?
Yep.
Now, sometimes, I mean, let's say you open it up with pocket sevens for, say, in this game, say $175. And the guy after you makes it 500 to go. And everybody else folds. Now, with the blinds in there as well, with the dead money from the blinds, you're now looking at a pot of, say, 500, 675. You're looking at about $750, maybe 275 to call. And in that case, sometimes you go, well, I'm only getting about 2.5 to 1 on my money now, but plus implied odds, if I hit my 5, maybe I do have to call this.
Yeah. Email here from Troy. He says, just had a question about the auto shufflers on the table. How many hands more per hour? How many more hands per hour do we get with that auto shuffler?
I would estimate it's somewhere between, like,
3 to 5 maybe?
I would say it's probably about 8 to 10% more per hour.
We usually run 25 to 30 hands an hour in a Holden game. Split pot game, obviously, there's less. Limped around here 3 ways. Gore made a limp here with pocket sixes. Flop comes out Jack 4-7 here.
And is Gore going to make a continuation bet? No, he's not.
No, he just limped
Oh,
there.
look at that. The set of 5s now for Yoshi.
Yep.
And Gore is now open-ended. And you wonder if Gore's going to call this. Or raise it, maybe.
Yoshi's bet 300 now.
And Ed is now open-ended as well.
I'm surprised that Gore didn't bet on that flop. I mean, he did limp in, but he was in position. He was against the blinds, Dave.
And if he bets, he probably takes it down. Now what's he going to do?
Ed calls, and Gore calls as well.
And Gore needs a 6.
Here we go to the river, and the river's a 5, and Yosh has made quads.
Wow. Runner quads.
Pot's about 1,600 here.
And look at the wheels going
And
round
he
and
checks
round
the
there.
quads on the river. He's trying to induce a bluff here, but he's not going to get it, Dave. I mean, I'm sure Gore's going to be happy. Is he going to be happy to check this one down? Well, maybe not. It is a third heart, so maybe Yosh is trying to reel some in to represent hearts, and Gore is going to buy it.
Yep.
He's going to bet 500. He's trying to represent hearts, and this is exactly what Yosh wanted.
And is he trying, you imagine,
And Yosh is going to check raise.
I mean, you imagine, is Gore trying to get somebody off of a jack or a 7?
Possibly. And Yosh is going to check raise here, 2,100 more. And it looks like Gore is going to get away from it. Now, the funny thing about this hand, anyone who's a longtime viewer of Live at the Bike, we had a hand kind of similar to this, maybe 4 or 5 months ago when this game used to be 5,100. And you might not have been in here, Dave, because Shirley used to do it. But Vic Park represented a flush on the river against Yosh and bluffed Yosh out of the pot. I wonder if that might have been running through his head.
Possibly.
Good poker players usually remember those types of
definitely.
hands.
Sometimes even a good poker player, even if you don't consciously remember it, it is in your subconscious.
Yeah.
Oftentimes when you get a feeling about something, you go, I just got a feeling this guy's bluffing. It's probably because something happened similar in the past.
Yeah.
And your subconscious is kind of churning it up.
Yep. Yosh is going to make a little raise here. He's going to make it 150 to go with Queen 9 offsuit. And Frank Mariani is going to call with 7-3 offsuit. Well, Yosh has hit the Queen. $300 pot here.
It's a really odd bet. The more I think about it, it was a really odd bet by Gore on the river there.
Look at this. Yosh has bet 300. And Frank Mariani's going to check raise here. And he has absolutely nothing. And you wonder sometimes with guys who've got a lot of money, who we think are recreational players, are they capable of making a check raise bluff here? And right now, Yosh can't beat a real queen, and he can't beat a deuce that Frank might be representing here. And look at that. Frank's going to bluff him out, and he shows him the bluff. There it is.
And you know what? Congratulations. Good job by Frank there. That's a reason why a lot of these players do play. They play for this thrill. I just bluffed out Yosh Nakano.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I was actually playing in a hand, probably 6 months ago, I played a hand with Haig, one of the owners here at the Bicycle Casino. We're playing 20-40 limit hold'em, and he bluffed me out of a pot. And he was so excited. He showed the cards. He did a dance. He goes, I bluffed a pro out.
Who was this that did this?
Haig.
Oh, Haig.
He was so excited. And all I could do was I shook his hand. I go, good play. Now, I want to get back to that. Just curious. Gore bets. The pot was $1,500 there, by the way, in the river. He bets $500 into a $1,500 pot. Obviously, as a bluff, because if he thought his hand was the best hand, he'd just check it down.
You know, you might get Yosh off of a weak jack or a 7.
Or a 7, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it was an odd bet, though, huh?
Look at this. David Kelsey got limped around to him. He's going to use that image. He's going to raise here out of the big blind with pocket 5s. Now, Ed's got a Queen 6 of diamonds here, and he's going to make the call on the button. And Mariani's in there with 8-9 offsuit, and we've got an $1,100 pot here. How is David going to play this out of position? Here we go. Well, how about set right off?
I think we've seen like 12 pocket pairs and 6 sets in the first 30 minutes of the show.
Boy, he's got to be hoping that somebody has an ace here, but I don't think anybody can call him.
That's a perfect flop.
Now, Mariani's got a gut shot to this 7. It's a rainbow board.
Yeah, and you can't fault Kelsey here. I love the bet. You're betting, hoping one of these players has an ace.
He bets 800. Look at Ed. He's got middle pair. He might come in. He's got backdoor diamonds. He's bet 800 here on the flop into an $1,100 pot.
And you can see the percentages. I mean, these guys are in terrible shape. Frank is a gut shot. That's about it. Ed needs running cards to win this one.
And if Ed makes his call and he catches a 6 or a queen, he's going to be in big trouble again here, dude.
Oh, definitely.
And if Ed makes his call, will this bring Frank in behind him?
I mean, it's one thing to go for a gut shot when you've got overcards. No, he's not going to get involved.
Ed makes the call here, and we've got a $2,700 pot here.
Oh,
Turns a jack.
I saw the paint there. I thought for a second it was the Queen of Hearts.
Now, how is Kelsey going to play this? Ed sometimes does bluff. But I think he's going to continue to bet, hope that Ed might have a weak ace here. And I don't mind the bet at all.
I don't mind it at all. I like this bet. This is a great time to bet. If Ed calls you, you got to put him on a piece of this flop.
He's going to pretty much put Ed all in here. I mean, Ed only has a little bit left. He's bet 2,000. I mean, and Ed's got a... Oh, actually, we're getting word that Ed has 2 big chips behind him. So he's got about 3,500 here. Or make that 2,500. So this is pretty much committing him to the game.
Yeah, and that's a big bet. I love Kelsey betting here, but might you? I'm just going to throw this at you. If you put Ed, you saw how tortured Ed was calling on the flop.
Right.
You kind of want to make it easy for him to call. So might you only bet 1,000 or 1,200 again?
Yeah. Build a little pot up.
Exactly.
And then maybe
Little
he
pot
feels that he's pot committed on the river.
And then you put a
about,
$2,000 bet, $2,500 down in the river. When the pot's 6,000, sorry.
talking about winning a big pot with your big hands by building it yourself, not counting on somebody else to build it.
I mean, we're strong advocates for building the pot, but at the same time, you don't want to scare your opponents out.
Yeah, and Ed's going to fold. Email here from Alan Hoffman. He says, it's illegal in the state of New Jersey to straddle anywhere in the state.
Okay.
I guess you can't do that in Atlantic City.
Obviously, there are probably a lot of states that have. I know there's some rules, like in Denver, you can't have a game that's higher than $5. $5 limit holder or something like that.
Email here from Brian D. Spawn asking about running the cards multiple times. That you can check over at liveatthebike.com, as seen on Live at the Bike. And again, I'm just going to say something briefly about that, Dave. It does not change the expected value of the hand one iota, regardless of what people have. Look at this. Barry Woods has kings. And seat 3 here, Frank Mariani's got jacks.
Yeah, and these guys, this is round number 4 between Woods and Mariani.
And Mariani is going to re-raise here. He's going to make it 300 more.
This is like a boxing match. Woods has actually won 2 of the 3 rounds. Let's see how it goes here.
And Frank is pretty deep. I mean, these guys are both about 6,000 deep, so Barry might be able to finagle this, and he makes the call. And we are heads up here for about a $1,000 pot. Oh, wow. Ace comes off. Barry checks. And Mariani's going to bet 600, but Barry beats him in the pot. He makes the call. Wow.
Is he going to check call him the whole way?
Turns a jack, Dave, and Mariani's got a set of jacks now. And now Barry's going to lead out into the set. He's going to bet 1,000, and Mariani raises him to 2,000.
Okay, that's an easy fold now.
Yeah, I think that Barry got his information.
Yeah, I like the bet here. I actually like the bet on the turn.
Yeah.
You want to get some information. You don't want to just check call the whole time with kings against an ace board. And that's an easy. Okay, you got your information. You found out you were behind. Throw it away.
He bet 1,000. Frank made it 2,000.
The poker gods even made it easy for him. It's not like the board came out deuce 5 with a jack on the turn.
And he gets away from it there, Dave.
Right, you better do that.
Sometimes, we've been watching Barry Woods for almost a year. Sometimes it's difficult for him to get out of the hands.
Yeah.
Get away from hands.
I actually think Barry probably should have bet the flop right into him. See where he was at.
Well, there you go, Yosh.
Or maybe even a check raise on the flop. See where he was at.
Button's going to move over here to seat number 4, David Kelsey, and he's up a couple thousand already right off the bat, Dave.
We always point out you don't have to play a lot of hands and no limit hold'em to win.
Ed's got ace-queen here, 1 off the cutoff in seat 2, getting his token massage. And he's just going to limp in here. Gore completes with ace-5, and Barry checks it with jack-8 offsuit from the big blind. Here we go, 3 ways.
There's the ace.
Wow, and is Gore going to get involved here with ace-5? He's got a pair and a wheel draw. He bets 125, and what is Ed going to do? Ed's going to raise to 400. 300 more.
Now, does Gore want to get involved? I mean, if the 4 comes up, it's pretty transparent.
And Gore makes the call. And we're up over $1,000 here to the turn. The turn's an 8.
And Gore's going to need a 4 or a 5, and that's it.
And it gets checked over to Ed, and Ed builds himself a nice pot. He bets 500, and Gore quickly calls.
Yeah.
Pot is now 2,000.
Oh.
And the river is a 5, and Gore makes aces up.
Oh, man.
And he's going to bet. He's going to bet 600 here on the river, but like you said, he didn't make it straight. But it's very difficult for Ed to beat a straight or 2-pair here.
Yeah.
Wow. Really surprised that Gore kept getting involved with that hand.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, I actually like the way Ed played it. Some people go, well, don't you have to bet the pot? No, he's building himself a pot. He doesn't mind his opponent's in there. His opponent only has 7 outs.
And Ed makes the call, and Gore's going to take down over a $3,000 pot there with aces up.
Yeah, poor Ed there. He had the best hand the whole way until the river. And Ed's really gotten the short end of it tonight. I mean, to have ace-king against kings and flop the case-king, and he loses about $30,000 in that one. And then here he's ahead the whole way. Those are the hands that just kill you. I mean, you play it perfect. There's nothing you can do.
I would have really loved to see if, say, the 10 came on the river there. If Ed, like a little value bet on the river against Gore.
I think he probably would have thrown another like 5 or $6 bet out there.
Yeah.
You imagine.
Pocket nines here for Barry Woods in the small blind. He's picking up some good hands. And that is actually Russ with pocket nines. Gore's got pocket eights on the button.
Yeah, and see number 1, Yoshi's got Jack 10. They got some interesting hands out there.
He calls. I bet you that Gore's probably going to raise here. No, he just limps on the button here. Barry completes.
300 more.
And we're going to see 4. Whoa, look at this. No, Russ is going to raise it here out of the big blind. He makes it 300 more. Yosh quickly calls. That brings Gores in. And now we've got about a $1,400 pot here. Hollywood Russ, the pre-flop raiser out of the blind.
Wow, what a bad flop for 8s and 9s.
Ace, queen, 3. Russ checks.
Yeah, and you know what? You can't blame Russ here. Russ is playing it like he's got pocket 9s.
Checked around,
Oh,
and Yosh makes the straight here on the turn.
Yeah. He's got it. Obviously, his check mark. He cannot lose the hand unless he folds.
And I don't think that he's going to get a call from Gore or Russ here.
I don't mind the bet, though. I mean, you got to almost hope that Russ has got jacks, or hope Russ has got even kings here, and he got scared on the flop with the ace out there.
Yep.
Just checking out the post over on 2+2. If you want to follow a live thread, you can go to 2plus2.com, go to forums, go to World Poker Tour and other events, and go to Live at the Bike thread for March 29th. And Baron Banger we were talking about the hand where Ed had ace king.
Right.
And he even said here, I didn't think you guys were thinking that Ed could fold. But I guess he was addressing the internet land where people always say, oh, I would have laid that down.
Right. No, not with those stack sizes. No way.
Players that would lay that kind of hand down, being short stacked, those are the kind of guys I want in my game.
Yeah. If you're going to play it short stack, you've got to move with that hand.
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised that Ed didn't actually raise on the flop. Maybe he just felt he was trying to get another bet out of Barry.
Definitely.
Limp here by Frank Mariani, and Barry's going to raise to 250 here with king 3 offsuit on the button.
This is what I'm talking about. Barry will get out of line in position.
And we're heads up. Mariani makes the call. Here we go.
And look at that, 2 pair.
Now, Frank's got the jack of hearts. Barry has flopped top and bottom on a 3 flush heart board. Frank checks. And Barry knows he's going to bet here. I almost guarantee it. He'll slow play on this flop, and he's going to bet 500.
Yeah, I mean, I can rip apart Barry's game. I actually like Barry's game. You can always rip apart anybody's game. But one thing Barry does not do is slow play.
Right.
Not very often, at least.
Frank gets away from it.
Well, I wanted a player, but I don't want to just take down.
Button's going to move over here to seat 7, Hollywood Russ. Again, you can email us at live@thebike.com.
Well, that's why I was
Questions,
betting again,
comments,
but yeah,
suggestions appreciated.
Came over the top. What do you do?
Straddle here. By
That's
Yosh.
Yosh.
Yep, going to be 100 to call. Again, those purple chips are $25 chips. White chips are hundreds.
Yeah, nobody's got much of anything. You got a couple of suited connectors, suited one-gappers out there. Mo in the big blind's got ace-9 and appears to be the best hand out there.
Now, might Mo raise here if it's limped around? He usually doesn't make that play, but there is dead money. He's just going to complete. And we got 4-way action here.
$400 pot to the flop.
Yep. Jack, king 7 here, rainbow. Nobody has a king, nobody has a jack.
Russ has got a 7. That's it. But you can't imagine Russ getting involved with it. Actually, look at this. On the button, he's going to bet it. Great play by Russ here. I love it.
Yeah. Now, Yosh he is double gutted here to the 9 and the queen here, Dave. He's got a double gut shot on a rainbow board here. He makes the call with 8-10. Turns a deuce. Now, it's interesting. Russ is probably going to check this turn. And what is Yosh going to do on the river if he misses? The river's a 5. Is he just going to give up? It's a third heart. And now Russ is going to bet. He makes 2 pair. He's going to throw a little value bet in here. He's going to bet 500. And he's going to take it down there. You're right. That was not a double gut.
Right. I was kind of shaking my head. Double gutters are really hard to see, even for the most seasoned players. I mean,
right. Queen is not a straight.
You've got to realize that we've probably seen between our own poker and just sitting here watching poker night after night. I mean, what? Thousands and thousands of hours.
Oh, yeah.
Of flops and poker.
Yeah.
I dream it. I see it. I scream it in my bed at dreams. Anyway, I was just curious why Yosh called there.
Right, because it was just a gut shot to the 9.
Just the gut shot. I mean, is he calling to make a play later on? But then he checks the turn. And he checked the river, too. I mean, sometimes Yosh's play in No Limit Hold'em really baffles me. I mean, he's obviously a great cash player.
David Kelsey has raised here with ace-king, and Gore called him with ace-jack. Now, is Kelsey going to make that continuation bet here?
Well, this time he's not in position.
He is heads up. It's 9-8-5 here with a couple of hearts. It's about a $400 pot. And Kelsey is going to bet. Now, Gore has the ace of hearts. Gore's usually... one of Gore's strong points is reading players, I think.
Very good at reading players.
Kelsey's going to bet $450 here.
Now, it's tough sometimes, though. Sometimes you can know the guy is weak. You can even put him on ace-king. But sometimes it's tough to pull that trigger.
Right.
And that's sometimes the difference between good poker players and great poker players, and then great poker players to the best poker players. The best ones can pull the trigger.
Right.
But once again, I mean, we've seen Yoshi in this game numerous times now. And sometimes his play just I just don't really understand it.
We've seen him make some good laydowns, though, too.
He makes great laydowns sometimes. Obviously, his instincts are right on, but you see a play like that where he's got a gut shot with 2 overcards already. You know,
Maybe he thought he was double-gutted, too.
Yeah, maybe. You never know.
Ed Shonazarian's got pocket 9s here in the big blind in seat 2. Mo's got the button. He's away from the table. He had ace-6 offsuit. And Ed's going to raise.
And I like the raise there. I mean, especially you got a couple of limpers in there. Why not? Raise it for value.
Now, he's going to make it 200. Now, Barry's got 8-5 of clubs, but I don't know if Ed has that much money behind. Doesn't
Got 2
look
big
like it.
chips.
Oh, he
That's
does? Yosh is called here with queen 10 offsuit. Barry's called with 8-5 of clubs. Wow, nice flop for Barry. And Ed's got top set.
Oh, we could get fireworks here.
And Ed's going to bet right out with top set.
I love it. Great bet by him. Now, Barry's got a gut shot with the flush draw.
Yep.
Yoshi's pretty much got nothing.
Now,
Barry needs a club or a 6.
You know, this is the type of hand that you can raise with a big draw. Like you said, straight draw, flush draw, ragged board. He's just going to make the call. And we can see that Ed has top set here.
Now, raising Ed, though, if Ed had aces here.
And he's all in.
Oh, well, there you go.
Turn is a jack now, and the river is a deuce. And Barry actually picked up a double gut shot on the turn. He could have caught a 10 or a 6 or a club.
Right. He had a ton of outs there.
Yeah.
But
And
outs,
again,
outs.
from what I said before, I got word that Ed had big chips, but apparently he didn't.
No, yeah.
So I don't know about the call there by Barry, even if it was 150 or 200 more. I mean, Ed only has 800 left. Ed moved all in for 800 on the flop.
Yeah, you'll often see, if you're playing in a game with Bart and me, or if we're talking about it here, you'll often see us going, how many chips you got?
Yeah.
How much do you have left? And one of the reasons is basically, do I have the implied odds? Is there enough at the table for me to make this worthwhile to call with this kind of speculative hand? And the one thing I was going to say, even if Ed was deep there, you might just call Ed because there's really no fold equity when you're playing instead. Because if Ed has aces or kings there, you're not going to get him off the hand anyway. The value in playing a player like Ed is more to make your hand and then bet for value.
Well, Ed has raised it up out of the blind here again. Small blind, he's going to make a $150 raise with ace-10 of diamonds.
Well, once again, betting for value, but he's out of position, and it can be tough to play out of position.
And Frank Mariani here, did he re-raise with ace-8? I think he re-raised out of the big blind. And look at this flop. Both players have aces, but Ed's got top 2.
Oh, Frank is in such bad shape here.
And it goes check, check on the flop. And now Ed picks up the nut flush draw. Ed bets 500, and Mariani's going to raise him here, and Ed's all in again, and Frank is drawing dead.
And just like that, Ed is going to double up 2 times in a row.
He's going to pick up about a $5,000 pot here. There's no card that can help Frank on the river. The river's a 5, and ace-10 is going to take it down.
It changes nothing.
Wow.
Frank's, I mean, when you have ace-8 there and your opponent flops top 2, and he has ace-10, I mean, you're drawing dead to running 8s.
Right.
That is just ugly. And look at that.
Dad, you want the blind?
About a minute and a half ago, Ed had $1,100.
Yep.
Now he's got $5,000. Just like that.
Question, Dave, do you want the big one?
Button's going to move over here to Ed in seat number 2. Again, you can email us at live@thebike.com with your questions, comments, suggestions. As always, much appreciated. Barry Wood's going to make a little raise here. Going to make it 175 to go with king 9 of hearts.
You guys want to play hand later? 175 Barry? Before we go off to you?
Barry giving Mo and John over there some crap about playing so tight. Well, Frank Mariani's going to call with 6-4 off suit.
Yeah, Frank, any 2 cards, right?
We're heads up. Here we go. Wow, Frank's open-ended, and Barry's got a flush draw.
And Frank's in terrible shape here because he needs a deuce or 7 that is not a heart.
Barry bets 400 here, and Mariani's going to make the check raise semi-bluff.
Wow, and if you're Barry, what do you do now?
He makes it 1,000 more.
I tell you, Frank, he pulls out all the tricks, doesn't he?
And Barry is going to
Just
call here, and we've got a $3,500 pot going in the turn. The turn's a king, and now Barry's got top pair.
Yeah, and Frank is in really bad shape. Before, obviously, if he caught a 6 or a 4 that wasn't a heart, he would have won also.
Frank checks, and Barry's going to pull the trigger here. He's going to bet 1,000, and Mariani calls, and we've got about a $5,000 pot to the river, and the river does not help Frank. It gives him a pair.
What do you got left there?
Frank checks. Now, for Barry, do you bet with King 9 here?
I think you have to.
The river was actually a 6, so it gave Frank a pair.
I think you can bet this. I really do.
And Barry's going to bet 2,000.
And hope that Frank pays you off with a queen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hope that he's so pot committed.
Well, think about it. He check raised the flop, and then he checked the turn when a king came out as if it was scary.
Barry's bet 2,000. The pot is 7,000. 2,000 a call.
I love the bet by
And
Barry.
Frank's thinking about calling here with just a 6.
Well, if you put your opponent on a heart draw, and he's missed it,
Well, he almost called. And he makes the call, Dave, and Barry's going to take down a $9,000 pot with 1 pair.
great bet by Barry. I tell you, we hammer him all the time for his bad plays, and one of the reasons we hammer him and we also give him praise is because I'm good friends with the guy. I know you are too. He's a really nice guy. But that was a great bet on the river. It's a great bet.
Well,
On the turn and then the river, great bet.
We often talk about how sometimes you don't bet for value with 1 pair, in this case, weak kicker, on the river. But if you play the hand out and you think the guy has a queen and he might pay you off, why not bet?
Well, he certainly played it like he had, say, ace-queen or queen-jack or something like that.
Yeah.
He check raises you. You get your king. Now he checks it to you as if he didn't like the king.
Nobody's ever addressed him as having the big one.
Buttons over here in Frank Mariani's hand.
Great value bet there by Barry. That's $2,000 he earned. And the way he plays, he needs it.
5-way action here, limped around. 4-3-4 here. Well,
I guess if there's ever a flop for deuces, when you don't hit your set, it's still a pretty good flop. There it is. But Russ has got a gut shot. I'm sorry, he's got a flush draw, the nut flush draw, plus overcards.
he's going to bet 150 here.
Yep. And he gets the deuces out of there. And you can see now that he got the deuces out of there, he's an overwhelming favorite. Now the problem, look at Gore's hand. Gore also has a flush draw. He has a king-eye flush draw. And I tell you, if Gore gets involved with this and a flush comes off, we might see some fireworks. The board is paired, though. Sometimes you don't want to go for that flush with a paired board.
And Gore's going to make the call here, and he's in real bad shape.
Yeah, if diamond comes off, he's in trouble.
Turns a queen. Now, what is Russ going to do? Russ is in position. Gore checks.
Now, this is the problem. See, now, you say check this and take the card. I don't. I say bet it because you cannot. What do you do now if Gore bets and you miss?
River's a king, and Gore backs into the best hand. I don't say always check.
Yeah, okay. No, I know you don't.
Yeah.
But you understand what I'm saying. Let's say Gore missed that. There's a good chance Gore's going to bet anyway, right? And you can't call with ace-8. I mean, I guess you can, but it's really tough to call.
And Gore is now going to bet here. He bets 400, and Russ is thinking about calling with ace-high.
Well, I mean, he's induced this bluff.
He's going to fold.
I mean, let's say the river is a jack, a blank card, it's a jack. Gore's probably still going to bet $600. He thinks he has to.
Yeah.
And Russ is probably not going to call with ace-high. And we saw it earlier when Barry laid down the ace-high, which was the best hand.
Button's going to move over here to David Kelsey.
Frank Mariani there in seat 3 actually bought in for another $5,000.
Well, he's picked up ace-queen here in the cutoff in seat 3. And Yoshi Nakano's going to make a little $100 raise here with queen-jack suited. Frank is just going to call.
Kind of a little stop raise, huh? You want to see the flop kind of raise?
Gore makes the call here with 7-10 offsuit, and Barry completes with 3-5. So here we go, $400.
Hey, it's kind of a little drill for everybody. Keep track of Yoshi's raises. We just see a $100 raise here with Queen Jack suited. Now, if he raises later with a big hand, let's see how much he raises. Let's see if it changes.
So here we go, 400 to the flop. Jack deuce 7 here, and Yoshi's got top pair.
And he was in bad shape before the flop, but he's outflopped everybody.
He's going to bet 500. Now, Gore's got middle pair. Is he going to get involved here? He is behind.
Problem with this, there are 2 clubs out there. And if, say, the 7 of clubs were to come off, do you even know if it's good?
Yeah, he's not going to get involved. Yosh takes it down there.
Take it down. Yoshi Nakano. He's having a nice night so far. I'll tell you, he's always sharply dressed.
Now I'm playing 5,000 behind.
5,000 behind. 3.
Mariani's 5,000 behind.
More chips, and then you say marker. So whatever your marker is.
No, I know. I just
Button's going to move over here to Gore in seat 5.
I just didn't hear anything.
Let's take a look at another chip count. We brought up some more chips on the table.
Yeah, 60,000 on the table, and Henry's still out of the game.
Well, let's take a look at the differences.
Yosh now up $5,100. Wow. David up $3,200. And Ed and Frank are big losers, down a combined $8,200.
Gore made a raise here with Queen 10 offsuit on the button, takes down the blinds.
Everybody else in the middle there. I kind of feel like in a game this big, anything like if you're losing or winning, say $600 or $700, either way, it kind of breaks even. I mean, that's such a small win or loss in this game.
We're already done with the first hour of the show. We got 2 hours left. Button's going to move over here to Barry Woods in seat 6.
It's nights like these, I mean, I tell you, I wish we did 5 hours of the show tonight.
Mo's going to make a raise here under the gun to 200. He's got pocket 9s. Barry Woods has got a Jack-8 suited on the button. Is he going to call? Gets folded around to him.
Now, Mo is raising. Mo has not really gotten out of line tonight. He's only played a couple of hands, and he's raising in first position.
And remember, Mo does not have a lot of chips here either.
I mean, I think this is an easy laydown. I don't care if you're on the button or not. This is Mo raising in first position.
Yep.
You've got to keep aware of where he's raising.
But Barry makes the call.
I mean, Barry's got one overcard, but you don't even know if you have one overcard in this case.
$500 pot. Here we go to the flop. Ace, ace, 8. Well, Barry's got an 8. Is he going to get involved? But Mo has the overpair to second to the pair there on the flop.
And the problem is Mo is just not deep enough. Now, Mo had a lot of money, and he bet and you called this. You might be able to represent something.
Mo's going to bet 300 into a $500 pot here. And Barry's not going to get involved.
Well, let's hand it to him. At least he got rid of that real quick.
And again, I like Barry's game, but as we often point out with a lot of the players that come on the show, we will point out the leaks. And I think one of the leaks has been kind of, exemplified tonight is I don't necessarily know if Barry is noticing his opponent's stack sizes when he makes calls with those, super, super deep implied odds hands.
You're 100% correct. He also doesn't notice who's raising and what position they're raising in.
Yeah.
We saw the other night last week where he paid off a guy called Alex.
Right.
Alex had played one hand in 3 hours, and he paid him off. I actually talked to him. I go, how do you pay off a guy who doesn't play any hands? I go, come on.
Frank Mariani's going to raise here to 300. Now, it's interesting. John is in the small blind here. Hasn't played a hand. He's got ace-queen, and he folds it like it's nothing in the small blind.
Wow.
And Yosh is going to call with queen-jack offsuit. So 3 of the queens are dead. Here we go. Heads up. 9-3-7. Missed both players. Frank makes a $500 continuation bet, and he's going to take it down there. Mariani shows the ace-queen, so John sees that.
Yeah, well, after Yosh saw Queen Jack, he said, okay, I can show the Frank. I can show him ace-queen.
What? 130.
That's funny. If you were to sit down in this game, obviously we're privy to cards.
Right.
But even if you weren't privy to cards and you were just watching this game and you saw who was playing cards and who was playing a lot and who wasn't, I mean, would you give a guy like John in seat 8 any action? I mean, if he raised you and you were in the blind with ace-queen, there's no way you're going to call him.
Got an email here from Augustin Navarro. He says, hey, guys, I'm a big fan of the show. I was wondering if Antonio Esfandiari has ever been on the Live of the Button. If so, what month was it? He's never played on the show, but he's actually been in here with me sometime around Legends. I don't know the date off the top of my head. We'll figure it out. And he's actually signed the board.
There he is.
Back
right
here. Yeah.
Antonio, the magician, Esfandiari.
Did some commentary for maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Got a raise here by Barry Woods with Jack 10 of clubs, and Yosh is called here in the big blind with King 8.
Wow, look at this flop for Barry.
Barry's open-ended with a straight flush draw.
And a pair. I mean, this is about as good as it gets. I mean, look at this. Yosh has the best hand right now, but look, Barry is an overwhelming favorite.
He bets 600 now. Yosh has top pair. Barry's got the open-ended straight flush, royal flush draw with a pair.
I mean, how many outs does he have?
Yosh calls.
There's one of them.
Yep, turns an ace. Barry makes the straight.
I mean, man, Barry had like half the deck. Actually, more than that, I think.
And again, this is the type of situation, he's bet 1,000 here, that you dream about if Yosh has a jack. Because you are free rolling on Yosh, unless Yosh, I guess, could have diamonds here with the
Right,
jack.
he could have King Jack with the jacket with King Jack diamonds. Thank you.
Barry takes it down.
Yeah, Yoshi's not going to get involved there. God, how many outs did he have? 9 clubs, plus an additional 6 straight cards, plus an additional 3 10s.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 18, plus 2 more jacks. He had 20 outs on the flop.
Dave, this is your project over there, right, in those definitions for As Seen on Live at the Bike, right? Because I got another one I don't know if we have up there.
It's my project, okay.
You've actually written great definitions over there.
Oh, here it is.
Michael Hutton. This is the Jackal from FNet Poker. Please explain to our dumb players what reversed implied odds are.
So we can stop arguing.
Yeah.
I actually think reverse implied odds is in...
Oh, it is?
Yes, I
Okay.
think I put that in there already.
Just taking a look at liveatthebike.com. Head over to As Seen on Live at the Bike. Of course, you can email us at liveatthebike.com.
And if you don't understand the definition, email us again and we'll let you know on the air.
Email is live@thebike.com. Website is live@thebike.com, spelled out. We got a raise here by Mo on the button. Excuse me, by Yosh with ace-queen out of the blind. He's going to make it 400 to go. Rust folds the ace-jack, and Mo folds the ace-9.
Take it down.
Now, obviously, we see that Mo has played a lot of action in the smaller games recently, Dave. But he really does tighten up and play solid in this game.
Yeah. Well, he actually told me, he said, I'm going to play kind of like a donkey. I'm going to really play at action mode for about a month. And I think he did that. And I think he lost a lot of money. And I think he's done with that.
Yeah. Button's going to move over here to seat number 1, Yosh. Gore is going to straddle here out of seat 5. And Barry Woods has got queens under the gun to the straddle spot. And seat 4 there, David Kelsey's got ace-king in the big blind. Barry's going to raise it up here. He's going to make it 400 to go. Remember, it's 100 to call, so he's going to make it 4 times the straddle. And Frank Mariani's got ace-queen in the small blind.
Yeah, this is some big hands here. Now, Kelsey knows that Barry can get out of line.
And Mariani's going to re-raise out of the small blind with ace-queen.
And mark this up as round number 5.
I think this is going to get Kelsey easily away from the hand here.
The only thing is that the players that he's going against, he's got to think, well, maybe, no, he's not going to get involved. Good lay down.
Mariani raises it up 1,200 more.
Might you just call this? Or do you just move in?
Well, again, against another opponent, queens you sometimes got to let go out of, pre-flop.
Hey, if this was John, my queens are in the muck. But against Frank? No way.
Barry calls.
And this is round number 5. They've each split the first 2 rounds. The first 4 rounds.
Here we go. $3,000 to the flop. King, Jack, 6. Wow, not a great flop for queens. Let's see if Frank bets.
Frank's got to continue, though.
It's a $3,000 pot here.
Now, the scary thing about this flop, by the way, you couldn't beat aces or kings before. You can't beat ace-king now, and you can't beat jacks.
There's nothing you can beat on that board. And Barry, he lifts up his cards. Frank's going to bet $3,000. I don't know if we can get a shot over there. You can see those big chips in front of Frank Mariani.
And look at this, round number 5.
Those are actually $1,000 chips from a different casino there, plus another 1,000 in white. And I know Barry's frustrated, but again, we talk about there is just nothing you can beat on that flop, except in this case, ace-queen.
Yeah, I don't mind smooth calling either.
Yep.
You see the flop comes off like that. The only problem is the flop comes off like that, and you get scared out of the pot.
Yep.
And that is now the 5th round. I mean, these guys are like Rocky and Apollo.
Yep.
3 rounds for Frank Mariani, and only 2 for Barry.
Button's going to move over here to seat 3, Frank Mariani.
Once again, we're live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. We've got a great night of poker going on. 25, 50 blinds, unrestricted buy-in game. We've got over $60,000 on the table. That's right, $60,000.
Yosh is going to make a raise here. It looks like to 250. He's got Queen Jack suited. Mariani's going to call on the button with King 9 of diamonds, and we're heads up between these two again. 500 to the flop.
Mariani likes to play a lot of hands.
Bad flop for both players here. Ace 4 deuce with a 3 flush.
Yeah, that's pretty ugly.
600.
Yosh checks. Mariani bets, doesn't show his cards. He takes it down. I got to hand it to Frank Mariani. He really uses his position well.
He is a
People bet to
machine.
him.
He's a machine.
Better up for the 1 hour. Trifecta, right.
Frank the Machine Mariani.
Yeah.
You're right.
Button's going to move over here to David Kelsey.
Obviously a very smart guy, you know? Obviously a great businessman. Obviously you don't get there being stupid. He's obviously very
Right.
smart. Man, he's applying it to the poker here. But is he up tonight yet? I mean, he was down about $4,000 before, so he's still down about $2,000.
Seat 4 here is going to raise. It was limped around to David Kelsey. He's going to raise with ace queen on the button. He's going to make it 400 to go. A lot of dead money in there. And is Frank going to give him action with deuce 3 offsuit? He does. Out of position.
Yeah, Frank likes to play his rushes.
Heads up.
Well, here we go. Heads up. About $1,000 pot to the flop. King 9-6. Well, let's see if Kelsey can make that continuation bet. Well, how about an open fold here, my friend? That's nice, too, for ace queen.
You gotta love that, huh?
That is not the flop you like with ace queen when a king rag comes on board.
Yeah, you see the flop, you go, oh, no.
Yeah.
Problem is Frank's calling everybody, so you never know what he has.
Right.
I mean, it can be difficult to play up against the players like that because you really have no idea where they're at.
Button's going to move to Gore in seat 5, still playing over West Hollywood Henry. Boy, John has played really tight over there in seat 8. There's that cube that we use to play over players. Got an ace-jack offsuit here for Barry Woods in the small blind. Ed's going to limp in. David Kelsey's got 8-4 diamonds. He's not going to play. Gore's got 6-3 offsuit in the button. Gore likes to play a lot of raises with pretty much any 2 cards on the button. He might open here. He does. He's going to make it 450, Dave. And, you know, for Barry here, ace-jack offsuit, you know, it's almost tough to smooth call. You might even make a case where you actually re-raise in this particular place against Gore.
Yeah, exactly. You took the words out of my mouth. Against Gore, Gore's making a button raise there.
Yeah.
It's almost like, do I want to raise it up to 1,500 and take it down right now, or just throw it away?
Yeah. Because if you call and you miss, what do you do now out of position? Gore could be holding any 2 cards.
I mean, you could make it a case for doing a stop and go there, thinking Gore's any 2 cards, and stop and go once again if you want to go to the live at the bike.
Yeah.
As seen on live at the bike, where Barry would just call that 450 and basically throw in about an $800 bet or even a $1,000 bet on the flop, virtually blind. I mean, wait for the flop to actually fall, but then just throw $1,000 in there and hope that Gore's missed.
Button's going to move over here to Barry Woods in seat number 6.
Pocket 8s for Mo. He limps in under the gun. King Queen suited for Gore, and he just limps in also. Barry's not going to play on the button. And I think we're going to see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ways.
Yep.
No, 6 ways.
6 ways. So it's a $600 pot as we head to the flop.
Well, you want to play fair game?
$300 pot. And look at this set of 8s here for Mo.
Yeah, set of 8s. And look at this. Wow.
And John's got top 2 pair here, and Gore's got king queen.
Oh,
Mo is just going
my.
to smooth call here. He does not raise. There's 2 clubs.
And Yosh is open-ended.
Wow.
What? I mean, that is just cold deck for John. He's got top 2 pair.
Sometimes Mo slow plays here. I don't think he's going to get a raise from anybody, and boy, is he going to have to dodge a lot of cards.
No, and Gore just calls too.
Yep. Wow. And we got 5-way action, and the pot now is $1,800. John's got top 2.
Oh, this could get really interesting if a blank comes.
Turns the 6,
Oh,
and
my.
Yosh makes the straight, and Mariani's got bottom 2 pair now.
Oh,
Mo's
man.
going to wait. He gets killed. He didn't raise the flop. He's going to move all in. Yosh has the nuts right now. As we can see, Mo has a redraw, and Mariani's got 2 pair here with 6-7.
And I got to tell you, John, what a cold deck for him. He gets top 2 pair, and he's in such bad shape. And the interesting thing is that he is going to get off the hook now because Yosh has moved. I mean, Mo's moved all in.
Yeah.
Yosh is certainly going to at least call him.
Dave, Mo has moved all in for $2,100
Oh,
here.
man.
The pot now is about $4,000, and Yosh is trying to figure out if he's just going to call or he's going to raise. I think he's happy. It's a double-suited board here. He wants to get everybody out of there. He's going to re-raise here. Looks like fourth, maybe 2,500 more.
And look at Frank Barry. That was
Frank
classic.
is sick.
That was classic.
He's got 2 pair now.
Oh, my God. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. But tell me how lucky John is. He flops top 2. He should be killed. He should be barbecued.
Right.
But because the 6 comes off and the way the action went, he can safely throw away top 2 without even thinking about it.
I got to tell you, with 6 people in there, if Mo had raised that flop, he probably would have gotten everybody out. And I think John puts them all in on the flop and Mo wins this hand.
Exactly.
But by slow playing the set, he's going to get fried. And you can see we've got a lot of 2 pairs. Gore's got a king. And John has 2 pairs, so the chances that Mo fills up here is very slim with 1 card to come.
Especially, I mean, that board is not, it's not like it's not connected. I mean, you got, oh,
And
my.
Mariani moves all in with 2 pair.
Oh, my.
Oh, my, and he's drawing stone cold dead.
Well, John might as well burn his card.
2 pair. This is unbelievable, folks.
Yeah, Frank cannot win. He can win the side pot, and there is a very
man.
substantial side pot. If a 7 or a 6 were to fall, he would win the side pot against Yosh.
Well, John is not folded yet. How much did Frank put in there? Another 4. He put in 8,000. He re-raised Yosh another 4,000.
And it's an easy laydown for John.
Mo is all in here.
And obviously Yosh is going to call with the nut
And
right
this
now.
pot is about $20,000 here. There's going to be money on the side. About, I'd say, $10,000 in the main. Another $9,000 on the side.
And I got to tell you, Yosh is Mo's in terrible shape because
River's an ace.
That's it.
And Yosh is going to take down the whole thing with 9-10. Unbelievable.
we saw how many kings were dead. We saw how many the 7s and 6s are all dead. I mean, there's just no many cards. There aren't any cards out there.
I don't. Sometimes I gotta say, one of the things I do not like about Mo's game is how he slow play sets there. How can you possibly not raise that flop when you've got 5 people behind you? King 8-7 with 2 clubs, Dave.
Man, I got to tell you, Mo played that hand terribly.
If he raises there, if he raises, Yosh folds, obviously, with an open-ended straight with a 2 flush. Mariani gets out of there, and I think John puts Mo all in from seat number 8. Mo wins that pot. John gets saved by what happened with the action there in seat 8.
Exactly. And maybe John just calls him, but on the turn, the money probably goes in.
That is unbelievable.
So instead of winning probably a $5,000 pot, he slow plays it and he goes broke.
Yep. Wow. Unbelievable hand.
And folks, this is real money.
Yeah.
This is not fake money. We're talking over $70,000 on the table. And what did Yosh take down there? About a $20,000 pot?
He took down about 9,000. He took down about 10,000 in the main and about 9,000 on the side.
A $19,000 pot. Wow. Happy Christmas.
I gotta
Merry
tell you,
Hanukkah.
Like I said, I'm a fan of Mo's game. I don't know what the hell happened that hand.
I mean, there's a 2 flush out there,
Yeah.
7-8, very easy for one of your opponents to have 5-6,
Yeah.
9-10. Then the 6 comes off and he moves in right into the nuts.
Gore is raised here. Yosh straddled. Gore's got pocket rockets, but he's not going to get any action. Wow.
Isaac's offering me drugs.
Ibuprofen?
Yeah. I think it's because we're screaming so much. Man, and I don't want to kill Frank for it. Frank's here for a good time. He's having a good time. He saw his 2 pair. He goes, you know what? I'm here to gamble. I'm going to move in. Obviously, when one player moves all in, when one player moves in for 2,000, the next guy raises to 4,000. Obviously, your bottom 2 pair are no good. But Frank wanted to gamble. But Mo is a professional poker player, and that's the player we're going to kind of hammer here because he really badly played that hand. He let Yosh get there. Yosh gets there for cheap. Yosh gets there for $250, and basically, talk about the implied odds. For $250, he wins $19,000. Pretty good gamble, huh? Wow, pocket kings for Gore. He makes it $275 to go. And Frank Mariani is going to call him. I'm not sure how much Frank has behind him. He's got $5,000 behind him. Mo also has $5,000 behind. And the flop comes out, Queen 10 deuce. Frank is in bad shape here, obviously, with King 9. Should be an easy flop to get away from. Wow, and I'm not sure exactly what happened there. Gore, I think, bet 500, and Mariani called with King 9. Man, I think Mariani here, he's on a little bit of a tilt. Clearly on some tilt. And now Gore's going to throw in 1,000, and Mariani's going to throw it away. The river would have been a queen. It wouldn't have changed anything. I mean, Mariani had king high. He was drawing dead on the turn. Actually, well, on the turn, he picked up a straight draw. I'm sorry. But he called that flop with no pair, no draw, no nothing. Gore wins himself about a $1,200 pot there. Man, the action is fast and furious here, live at the bike. Get another chip count here, and look, suddenly we've got almost $75,000 on the table. That's real money. Yosh has got $26,000.
Wow. Geez, Dave, have we ever had this amount of money on the table?
Last week.
There you go. Okay.
Yosh is up $18,000. Wow. Frank is down $11,000. Ed down $4,000. Mo down $3,000. That's it? Almost down $3,000? Well, we actually missed the hand right before the show started where he lost about $3,000.
Wow.
Mo's actually down about
wow.
$6,000 tonight.
I can only say wow for this game. It is action central. And Yosh is...
Well, we've seen a set almost every other hand.
We got a $200 raise here by Gore with pocket sixes. Hollywood Russ is going to make a smooth call here with ace-queen. Yosh is going to call with jack-4 of hearts. Playing his rush. And Ed is in there with jack-8. So here we go, 4 ways. $800 pot. Gore's the pre-flop raiser. And he flops a set. He flops a set.
What's new? Everybody flops the sets here.
3, 6, 7, couple
It's insane.
diamonds. Nobody has much, though, Dave.
Betting 900.
Got a $900 bet here by Gore, and I think he's going to take it down. I mean, no one's got anything here. And he does.
Thank you.
Again, you can email us at liveatthebike.com. We'll get West Hollywood Henry there. That damn Yankees cap.
He probably wants to sit down in the game.
Yeah. Wow. Unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable stuff.
But I tell you, it's funny, on some nights when we do, like, get the paces a little bit slower,
Yeah.
we get to talking about baseball, about movies. Tonight, it's all poker.
Yeah, it's been very nice with that one, actually.
Button's going to move over here to seat number 1. And you can watch this show and every show we've ever done. We've been doing this show for over a year. Check out liveatthebike.com, spelled out. Click on the on-demand banner. Sign up for the archives. Get you access to Barry Greenstein, Kathy Liebert, Doyle Brunson.
Antonio Esfandari.
Yes.
I mean, all of them.
Phil
They've all
Rock.
been here.
Last week, The Grinder was on the show with Kenneth James. Got a raise here by David Kelsey opening up his game. He's going to raise 175 with 8-9 of clubs under the gun. And Frank's going to call him here with Queen Deuce.
Any 2 cards now for Frank.
Well, 6-4 deuce.
Frank's outflopped him. I mean, he actually had the best hand before.
Check, check here on the flop. Kelsey does not make the continuation bet. The turn's a jack, and now David's got a flush draw. And a $300 bet here by David and a quick call
How about a queen of clubs?
by Frank and a quick call by David. Here we go to the river. River's a 4. Oh.
David misses.
And Frank's going to bet again.
Betting 600.
Well, he probably thinks he has to.
Kelsey's out of there.
And he shows a bluff. Well, it's not a bluff, actually. I think actually had the best hand.
Yep.
And oftentimes when players are playing, oftentimes when players are stuck, they don't play their best.
Yep.
And you see here Frank, he's playing any 2 cards now. Really trying to catch magic in a bottle.
Button's going to move over here to seat 2. And Ed has been remarkably quiet here.
Well, he was up for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, lost a couple of hands. Then he doubled up twice. Built $1,100 into about $5,000. And this is limping around. Gore limped in with ace-queen offsuit.
Raise, make 100.
And,
okay.
Yeah, and Yoshi's going to mini raise here.
Now, this is the second time Yoshi's raised, and this time he's raising with another marginal hand. He's raising at the minimum, and he's got ace-9 suited.
And look at Frank. Frank's going to make it 500 out of the small blind with 75 offsuit. And Gore might be playing the player here. Well, he's going to fold.
And he's going to lay it down. He's going to pick a better spot. And look at this, though. Yosh is quickly calling. He is going to play the player. You know, it's one thing to know the player's tilting, and it's another thing to try to, like, actually follow through with it.
Here we go, 1,200 to the flop. Well, he's outflopped him again here, Dave, and he moves all in quickly. Quickly all in. And Yosh is out of there. And Frank shows the 7-5 offsuit. Again, Frank is having a good time out there.
Yeah.
You can check out Frank's website at www.nba.com/Lakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a pretty good,
Yeah.
website going there.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
But
It's
he's gonna
funny,
move
sometimes
over
you
here
get
to seat 3.
Sometimes we get an email, and people wonder. They go, "Hey, man, you hammer Mo or you hammer this guy so much. Why aren't you hard on this guy or player A or player B or whoever it might be, or player like Ed or in this case Frank?" And you correctly said he's here to gamble. He's here to have a good time. He's a recreational player.
Yeah.
He's not here to make money.
Folded around to the button here, and Mariani's got 4-8 offsuit. He's going to limp. See if Kelsey even completes here with King 5, Dave. I don't even think it's worth it. Maybe if everybody's in.
If everybody enters the pot,
No, he's going to complete.
the only reason you might complete this
Yeah.
is there's always a chance if you hit your hand, Frank might pay you. The way Frank's playing right now.
3-way action. Jack 10-10. Gore's got trip 10s. He's going to check it, and no one bites. Couple spades out there.
I might check this one more time and let.
Turns to 5. Now it's a third spade. Now Gore's going to bet 150. Frank is out of there.
Okay.
Now Kelsey's picked up a pair of 5s here on the turn. Is he going to get involved? He's drawing stone cold dead. Does not look like it.
And I don't mind it. You and I, we don't like to slow play. I know that, but I don't mind slow playing there. Seeing if Frank will bite.
Yeah. Well, actually, Kelsey hasn't folded yet. Ah, he's going to fold now. And there it is. Looks like our delay is just catching up, Dave, to that hand that we had a while back. Yep. There's a $1,000 chip. Thanks there. Good shot there by Isaac. Now, again, most players will stack their chips in 20 chip denominations. So, stack of whites 2,000, stack of purples 500. And Yosh is just crushing them out there.
Yeah, I mean, Mo's down about 6,000.
Yep.
Frank Mariani down 10,000. Yosh up $18,000 in an hour. Not a bad hour's work. What's your hourly rate, Mo?
Frank Mariani's going to raise here with ace-7 of hearts. Now, Russ has got pocket 9s. No, he's just going to call. I'm thinking maybe he'd put a little pressure. And Yosh is in there with 9-6 offsuit. And it looks like Russ is checked blind here. 3-way action, $900 pot. Well, King 5-4 with a couple spades, and it gets checked around.
Why would you check blinds?
Turns a 10. I never understand that one.
With pocket 9s?
Yeah. He's going to bet. I mean, if there's any hand that you probably wouldn't check blind with against multi-way field, it would
Middle
probably
pocket
be
pair.
pocket 9s.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people like to check blind because it kind of freezes your opponent.
Right.
Because they, obviously, normally if you're checking, it kind of shows weakness. But if you check blind, you could have a king there. Who knows?
Right. We're going to see a collection pot here. Button's going to move to seat 5.
So if this pot is $600, the winner of the pot will pay the collection, which amounts to what, about $122? $120?
David Kelsey, he's in the cutoff. He's got ace-5. Looks like he just did he just limp there? Looked like he might have just limped. And Barry's going to raise here with ace-jack. Why not?
Take it down.
Yeah.
Now this pot will not be $600, and Barry will not have to pay collection on this one.
But David Kelsey calls.
Well, now it will be collection.
Yeah.
Take it back.
King 4-5. Well, Kelsey's got middle pair. It's a $550 pot.
This is the problem, though. You have ace-5. How do you know where you're at?
Barry's going to bet. And again, Barry would make that bet with ace-queen. He'd make it with ace-jack. He's made it with ace-jack here.
And you can see David is the overwhelming favorite. I hope that's okay with you, Barry.
Now, David got real lucky that he outflopped Barry there. How involved would he have gotten if an ace flopped?
Well, he didn't get that lucky. He outflopped him and still got outplayed.
Right.
So, And I'm not sure if that pot was over 600 or not. It was. Now, there is strategy. If you ask a professional poker player,
Yeah.
not the recreational player, about what kind of hands to play in a collection pot game.
Yeah.
And you've got to realize that hands that only are small positive EV actually turn into negative EV when you've got to pay $120 after you win the pot.
Right.
So
And actually,
obviously-
sometimes you'll see in a collection game, you don't normally chop, but players will chop in a collection pot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and I also, I will really, I got to tell you, if I'm raising or entering a pot in a collection game, and it's a collection pot, I probably have a pretty good hand. I'm not entering it there looking for a small pot, you know?
Ed Shanazarian is limped in with a king-queen offsuit, and Frank Mariani, back to his aggressive ways, is going to raise 4-5 offsuit. Now, Hollywood Russell's got ace-jack in the small blind. Mariani made it 300 here. And again, might you re-raise here? If Frank is raising with any two cards, Dave? In this particular situation. And it looks like he is going to re-raise. Now, the problem is that Frank might call here.
Well, it's not really that big a problem. It's one of those things where sometimes you're gambling now. Obviously, you've got ace-jack offsuit. You might have to just gamble even more. And you might have to throw out $1,500 sort of blind on the flop.
Russ has made it 1,000 to go, and Ed has not released his hand yet with king-queen.
And depending on how much money Frank has here, if you think he's making a move here, you might have to commit a lot of chips with just ace-high.
Ed's coming in, Dave. He makes the call, and that's going to bring Frank in behind him. And we are going to see a $3,000 pre-flop.
And none of these players even have a pair. I mean, look at the garbage these guys have.
Here we go. 30 white chips in the center to the flop.
That's pretty.
There's the ace.
Yeah, that makes it really easy for Russ, doesn't it?
He checked it, Dave, from up front.
Why not? Let him check it, and here comes a jack. Watch.
And everybody checked. Turns the third hearted to 7.
Yeah, nobody has a heart, though, but Frank is now open-ended. Wow. Now, what if a jack had come off there? He makes two pair. Ed makes a straight. Is Russ going to lose all his money?
Russ is going to bet 2,000 now. Again, Frank is open-ended. He doesn't have a heart.
And I really like
that would have been a hell of a turn card.
I mean, I think Russ has really improved his game, but I think that's a mistake. I mean, I think you flop the ace there. I think you almost have to bet blind there, no matter what flop comes out.
The pot is $5,000, $2,000 for Ed to call. Ed's really stretching if he calls here, because he would need a jack and a jack only. Nobody has a heart, remember?
Yeah, I mean, you can't call this with a black king queen, can you? No, okay.
And Frank gets away from it as well.
Now, Russ has kind of gotten his game. It's kind of funny. We always see kind of the evolution of a poker player.
Right.
Where a player starts out as, okay, I know how to play pre-flop. Okay, now I know how to play post-flop. Well, now I've gotten to the point where, Russ has gotten to the point where his game, where he's making that continuation bet.
Yep.
He'll raise in position. If the player checks to him, he'll bet with ace-high and usually take it down. Well, now you also see the evolution of a poker player where he's starting to play it a little backwards. Where he's betting it when he's missed the flop, and he's checking it when he's hit the flop.
It's an interesting evolution that we see. Anybody familiar with the show, we sometimes point that out with a gentleman named Amir, right?
Exactly the guy I was thinking of.
Yeah. Gonna get a look at his setup here, kind of an interesting note. All the setups are hand done, so the dealer checks all the cards, Dave, because it's not, they're hand done.
Right.
Sometimes you might have a missing card or something.
Obviously,
like
a
that.
missing card or two of the same card.
They actually do the setups in the room right next door to us.
Really?
Yeah, and those people have kind of become my enemy. Not for their job, but the thing is that the air conditioning that's connected to this room, I'm always complaining that it's hot in here. It sometimes freezes them out, so they'll sneak in here and jack the temperature up.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. I mean, I'm one of those guys. I don't really want it to be like 43 degrees. I'm not a big AC man. But anyway, there was a great article in the Card Player magazine. I want to say at this point, it was probably 2.5 years ago already. And it talked about where good poker players, but not yet great poker players, and how they start playing backwards, and it's backwards play. And like you said, Amir does it, and you're wondering if Russ is going to start doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to realize that the board comes out ace-10 blank. You have ace-jack, and there's two hearts out there. Man, a lot of cards can come off and scare you. Or scare your opponents. And that's Tyler.
Yep.
Tyler's a student down at UCSD. Actually drove up here yesterday and played in our game last night. I spoke to him after the game. Real nice guy.
He was actually playing in my 5-10 game this afternoon.
Pretty solid player. Saw him make a nice move on Gus last night. He and Gus were going at it all night.
Frank Mariani's raised here to 250 with pocket jacks, and we're not going to see a flop here. We're halfway through the show here, Dave. What a game.
Another thing to be aware of if you're playing in a game with a player like Frank Mariani, who's kind of mixing it up. He's playing a lot of hands. He's raising with all sorts of hands. You never really know what he has. You've got to be aware that players like that, they get cards too. And as often as you get pocket aces, well, he'll get pocket aces too.
Hey, there's a take a look at the board there, Dave. Wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players.
Why don't they start our second game? So I can play in it.
It's actually more than that because it goes down, page down.
Start a second game and put me on the list.
We got a little raise here. It looks like by, I think it was maybe Frank Mariani with Queen 10 offsuit.
You were right.
Ed is called and Gore is called. $250, 3 ways. Here we go, $750 to the flop. Well, there's the jack for Gore. Now, is Frank going to continuation bet here? Ed's got a gut shot wheel draw to the deuce. And Frank's going to bet 600. Now, is this the type of flop you want to get involved with? Maybe against Frank. And you know what? This is a play that I will implement. Gore's making the mini raise here. Kind of an information raise. Sometimes you mini raise with your big hands as well.
Yeah.
Trying to find out where he's at.
You also get some sort of loose draw, like Ed's got ace-5 here. Ed might have called 600. And if Ed calls and an ace comes up or a deuce comes up, well, then you just let somebody else get in
And
there.
Frank makes the call here with Queen high.
Yeah.
The turn's a 5. Wow. Now, is Gore going to... Is he going to bet here?
I think you've got to bet here.
He bets $1,200 into about a $3,400 pot. Probably pot control, what we talk about, not necessarily checking the turn, because you might not want to face a big bet on the river, but making a small bet in the turn and taking a free showdown on the river.
Right. Well, if he checks the turn there,
Yeah.
and let's say a card comes up that's somewhat scary, but you don't know where your opponent's at.
How about a 6?
Right, and Mariani comes out with, say, a $6,000 bet.
Right.
Or, the pot was about, what, $3,500?
Yeah.
And Mariani comes out with a pot size bet, $3,500.
Yeah.
Well, then you're really put to the test. Do you call him or not?
Yeah, we talk about, oftentimes people will write in, talk about in the 2+2 form, controlling pot size. And again, another way to control pot size as opposed to checking the turn in position is betting weak and taking a free showdown.
Yeah, that's my favorite way to do it. I'd rather bet there. I don't want to let some free card come off to beat me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm betting $1,200, and unless my opponent is really sophisticated, he'll usually just call that and then check the river, and I can check behind him if I want to.
Look at this. John has voluntarily entered a pot in seat 8. He's
What?
going to limp in the cutoff with pocket 10s.
Man, call the presses. John's in a pot. He must be boozing it up.
And Mariani's going to raise 200 more. Now, the funny thing here is Gore is limped in with Jack 3 of clubs. If he calls, do you raise here if you're John with 10s?
No,
he's
he's
just
going
gonna
to call.
call.
I mean, I think you have to raise that if you're John. I mean, because what happens if, the board comes out, whatever, Queen, Jack 4,
Right.
and now you're just going to check fold?
He is in position here.
I mean, in position, why not raise it up to 700-800 and take the pot down right
And
there?
Ed makes the call, and here we go, $1,000 pot 4 ways. Mariani, the pre-flop raiser, was 6-3 offsuit. King 6-9.
And now Ed's got a king. I mean, you've let Ed get there. If you make a raise there, you've got this pot. It's heads up with you and Frank.
Ed checks. Mariani's going to bet 500 here. Gore quickly gets away from it, and now you're put in a tough spot if you're John.
The problem is there's a player behind you.
Yeah.
You
Ed-
might think you've got Frank. The problem is though, there's Ed behind you now.
Yeah.
And I don't think Ed's going to go anywhere with
No.
the king.
We know Ed, even if John were to raise here, I think Ed makes the call.
I mean, Ed's a pretty smart guy. But top pair on the flop, I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah.
And you can see he's got 66% chance of winning this pot. He's really in great shape.
He's bet 500. The pot's 1,500, 500 to call. He's made a half pot size bet on the flop.
John can make run a diamond. He's going to throw it away. I just don't like the way he's played this hand. He's played it really passively. And now Ed's in commanding lead here.
Absolutely.
I mean, Frank needs a 3 or a 6, and that's it.
$2,000 pot to the turn. The turn's a 5. It's
Well,
a diamond. Now
yeah,
Frank's
now-
got a diamond draw.
Yeah, a 3, a 6, or a diamond will do it.
I believe that Ed is checked. And Frank's going to check right behind
He's
him.
going to take the card.
And the river's a jack, and Ed's got the best hand here.
I imagine Ed's going to check this one more time. And See if Mariani takes a shot at it.
Yeah, he's going to bet 500. That's not going to do anything here.
No, that's an easy call. That's just a $500 gift.
Yeah.
Might as well put a bow on it.
Ed takes down a $3,000 pot there with King 4.
And that's just obviously, you're not aware. When you make a $500 bet like that on the river, you're not aware of who am I playing against, how big is the pot, and what is $500 going to do.
Now, again, if John goes back and watches this, like some new players often do, we're not hammering you, again, personally. I got to tell you, if you're going to come into this game with a tight mindset like David Kelsey in seat 4, I really like the way that David's played tonight. There's no way Kelsey plays the hand with 10s on the cutoff like that. I don't buy it.
It's never a personal thing. I mean,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, I don't even look up at the guy's face.
Right.
All I'm looking at are the cards.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, I have no problem limping in with 10s. If you're actually hoping that Frank Mariani will raise the big blind, then you get another call in the middle with a player behind you. Why not raise it up and isolate? You also have position. You're isolating Frank. If he makes it $600 to go, Frank probably calls. Everybody else folds. You got it heads up, and you win yourself a $1,500 pot.
Who are you kidding? You're not limping in the cutoff of 10s with 4 limpers in front of you. I don't buy it.
No, I'm saying if you're
Yeah.
going to, because Frank Mariani's the big blind, and
Right.
Frank's been raising every time anyway.
I see. Gore is the straddle here. David Kelsey's woken up with queens in the big blind, and he's going to raise.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty aggressive player. I'm probably going to raise with 10s in the cutoff seat. But I'm certainly going to limp re-raise.
After a few limpers, he's made it 800 to go here, it looks like, out of seat 4.
Well, you're the only unknown factor.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to call this. I mean, you've also got to look at the texture. Somebody go, well, 10s aren't that good, but let's think of this. Okay.
Yeah.
Ed has limped in the small blind. He's tossed in a quarter. Now, Frank is raised, and Frank's been raising probably 1 out of every 3 pots. So you can't give him credit for anything. Now, Gore, who originally limped in, only calls the $200 raise. And that pretty much tells you, okay, he probably doesn't have a huge hand.
Right.
Because he can limp in with aces, but I don't think he's going to limp in with aces and then just call a $200 raise.
Email here from Richard Shops. He says, have you guys seen High Stakes Poker? And I have. I don't know if you've watched it, Dave. If so, that is real money? Is that real money the players are using? And yeah, it is. From my understanding.
Yeah.
It's 300, 600, no
I'd imagine it's real money.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine they're doing it for fun. At the end of it, they give the money back. No, they're playing real poker.
From Greece, right?
And Mo has talked about adding an ante to this game, Dave, at some point.
Yeah, well, what he'd like to do, he was telling me about, he'd like to have this game and then also have the same exact structure with a $25 ante, which would make this game enormous.
Three-way action here, limped around. Deuce, 3-5.
Well, Barry's got the best hand right now, but Frank is open-ended.
Yep, Barry's got a pair and a straight draw, gut shot to the 4, and Frank has got the open-ended straight draw.
We haven't heard from Barry in quite a while.
Betting 150.
He's going to bet 150.
Yeah. Imagine Frank is going to call this.
It's about 15 and what? It's a 15 just south of
Raise
Corona.
375.
He's going to raise it up, Dave. 375 is going to make a semi-bluff raise here.
375 more.
And I think he's all in. He's all in.
I think that's an easy call
Yeah,
here.
Barry's going to make the call here.
And Frank's not in bad shape here. Any
Barry's
jack.
a little under 2-1 here with 2 cards to come.
Any jack.
Turns a deuce.
That's not going to do
how.
it. He's an ace, a 6, or a jack. That's not going to do it.
Barry's going to win it there with a pair of 3s. Deuces and 3s.
Well, that's round number 6.
Yep.
This might be a heavyweight bout here. 6 rounds between Barry and Frank, and they're tied 3-3.
Email here from Larry asking what the hourly rate for the 25-50 game in
$26?
collection is. It is
13 every half hour?
12 or 13 every half hour.
Okay, so either 24 or $26.
And again, we play with a collection pot here, which means that the winner of the collection pot, which happens every half an hour, if it's over 600, pays the entire collection for the table.
Yeah, so if you never win a collection pot, you never pay a collection.
Like I would go
But
so
free.
far as to say Seed 8 has not paid any collection tonight, because I don't think he's actually taken down a pot.
So he's playing free tonight.
Yeah. And Frank is going to rebuy here.
Yeah, he is now in this game for $21,000. He's rebuying for $5,000 more. Obviously, the money means nothing to him. He's a part owner of the Los Angeles Lakers. He's here to have a good time.
Right.
And you know what? One thing about Frank, I'll give you, he's a tremendously generous and nice guy. Whether this guy wins $25,000 or loses $25,000, you cannot tell. He's still smiling. He's still shaking people's hands. Really a class act.
Ed's going to make a limp here with Jack 5 of spades, one off the cutoff.
You beat him, Shorty?
Option.
Barry completes, and Russ is going to check.
3-player.
Three-way action here. Russ has got a Jack 8 offsuit. Oh, 9-10-6. Russ has got an open-ended straight draw.
Yep, Ed's got the open. Oh, I'm sorry.
Betting
It
150.
was not. For a second, I thought it was 8-9-10.
Russ is going to bet 150 here.
Nice semi-bluff here by Russ.
Yeah, no one's got anything. And again, that would be a really good straight if somebody had an 8 and a 7 were to come, with Russ would have the nuts.
It's a nice bet there also. Russ is using his image. Why show? Don't show, Russ. No need to show. Let him think you got the nuts every time you're betting. I just want to say hi to my wife. She's home. Still sick. Not feeling
Yeah,
very
Barry
well.
Woods was actually telling me that she was scheduled to give him a massage, but
Yeah,
she
he-
called it off.
Well, he was a little disappointed because he flew back from Oakland and he was scheduled to have a massage last night, but she wasn't feeling
Oakland?
good.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but nobody wants their masseuse to sneeze all over him. So
Button's gonna move over here to seat 6.
300 total.
We got a $300 raise here by Frank Mariani. He's got ace jack offsuit. Now he's 5,000 behind when he does not have chips in front of him. And he's going to take down the blinds there, Dave. And there it is.
obviously Frank, a very competitive guy.
Yep.
There's
Here we
another
go with the
count.
chip count. Wow.
Now over $75,000 on the table.
Yosh just got 25 G's.
That's it.
Mo's bought in for 5,000. Let's take a look at how these players are doing tonight.
Or not. There it is.
Yosh is up 17,000.
Wow. That is tremendous.
And Frank is down about 16 grand.
That
Mo
is
is down 5 grand.
He's down $5,000, and I know he lost about a $2,500 pot before the show started. Oh, actually, I'm getting word that he's added that in. So,
Yosh is straddled here. Out of seat 1.
well, it's a good thing he's straddling. There's not enough action in this game, huh?
And we got a raise here. And we had a raise by, I believe, David Kelsey with ace-10 offsuit. He's going to make it 600 to go.
Yeah, he's mixing up his game a little bit. He knows how the players are seeing him. He knows that they view him as a pretty tight player. And you know what? He's in great position because he is to Frank Mariani and Ed's left.
And look at this. Ed calls and Frank calls. And we've got a $2,000 pot here going 3 ways.
And normally you wouldn't like that, but against those two players, you probably have the best hand.
Wow, a 3 flush here. And he's got the only heart. Now, can he make a continuation bet and take it down? Queen 8-4. Nobody has anything here.
Yeah, I mean, this is completely missed everybody. David is in great shape, but how does he know that?
Ed checks. Frank checks.
And David's
And
really
David's gonna
good about
bet.
being aggressive. And look at that. He's going to put out what looks like about a $1,200 bet.
And look at this. Frank's already mucking his cards.
Betting 1,400.
He bets
Wow.
1,400 here.
$1,400 into an $1,800 pot, and he's going to take this down.
Wow.
You know, oftentimes you say, oh, how can you bet that flop continuation? Sometimes you just want to check and give up.
Yeah.
As scary as that board looks to you, it's just as scary to your opponents, unless they have got a big hand.
Thank you, Blair.
Hey, I mean, Kelsey's up close to 4,000 now for the night.
Right.
Great job by him. at
He's
8-4.
really playing it good.
Yeah.
Really playing it very impressive tonight.
Well, we always talk about how, some of the best no-limit play we see in this casino is in that 3-5 game. And I think that there's a lot of guys, I mean, I can think of, say, 5 off the top of my head, that are probably better than everyone at this table, with maybe the exception of Mo in no-limit hold'em.
At this table?
Yeah.
Yeah,
lovely
maybe.
game.
I mean, obviously, I'm not real familiar with John's game, but so
Right,
far from
right,
what
right.
I've seen,
Yeah.
I have to probably agree with you.
Yeah.
Double straddle live.
No, that's a live raise.
The lovely,
That's a raise.
the lovely bin.
But
Look at this. Mariani is blind raising. He's 2 off the blind.
well, it was a straddle, I think, by
Ed straddled, and Mariani is blind raised, and he's picked up pocket 8s in the blind raise spot.
Wow.
Now, Yosh has got queen jack offsuit against a random hand. He might raise here, but he does not. He just calls. And Ed has got king queen.
And Frank might, well,
Ed's going to raise out of the straddle. He's going to make it 1,000 to go out of the straddle. Remember, Frank now has the option because Ed is raised.
yeah. And certainly going to call at least.
He makes the call. Ah, this is crazy stuff.
No,
He's
he's
going to
raising.
re-raise. He blind raised, and now he's going to re-raise 2,000 more.
And all the money might go in pre-flop.
And look at this.
Yeah, all the money is going in pre-flop. Well, almost all the money. What does Ed have, like $400 left?
$5,000 to the flop. Deuce, 4-5 with a couple diamonds. Frank is in good shape here.
He is. Ed does not have a diamond in his hand. And you know Frank's going to move in for the last 400. And I assume Ed's got to call this. The pot is 4,500.
Frank is only going to bet 500 here.
That's all Ed has.
Okay. And Ed makes the call.
And the pot is what, about $6,000?
Yep. Ed needs a king or a queen here. The turn's a 9. And the river's a 4. And Frank, with the blind raise, is going to win a big one. Wow.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And you correctly pointed out that a lot of the players that play in the smaller games are better than a lot of these players.
Yep.
It's more a matter of, are they comfortable playing at these limits? If you take a really good player who's comfortable playing 3 to 5, and you put him in this game, he might become really passive, really tight, really scared, which is probably the worst type of poker player you can be.
22 Skidoo on 2+2 is posted up here. The word of the day for Russ is devolution. Is that the opposite of evolution?
I guess so.
Devolution, devolution.
And he's saying that Amir has evolved. My wife would say that I've devolved.
Since the time you met?
No.
Oh,
Since the time I was born.
oh the buttons
She
over here.
continually
Mo.
claims that I'm the missing link. Or really close to it, I guess.
Linked around here.
I'm thinking. Easy. 300 more.
And Frank Mariani's going to raise. He's going to make it 300 more with King Queen.
Let's see, wait.
David Kelsey makes a quick call with Ace 10. Obviously, he's playing the player here, Dave.
And 3 in.
And Mo's going to call him the button with 6-7 offsuit. Mo has 4,500 there.
Lightweight.
And Yosh is in there with, looks like, 9-7. So here we go. 1,200 pre-flop, King, Jack, Deuce.
Well, Frank's
He's got
out.
top pair.
Yeah, he's out flopping.
800.
He's going to bet 800.
David's got a gut shot, and if David hits his gut shot, it's 2 pair for Frank, and he'll get all of Frank's money.
Of course I'll be like that.
$800 bet here. I don't think David's going to get involved with Yosh and Mo behind him.
Yeah, well, this is a matter of implied odds. You know you've got 4 outs to the absolute nuts, and if I hit it, okay, I might make a lot of money, but
You don't know.
you don't know, and probably best to just lay it down.
You think I know what I had? Now you know what I had. No, seriously.
Button's
Take
gonna
it down,
move over here.
Mariani.
Button's going to move over here to Yosh and seat 1.
What am I going to steal the cast forever?
Action is fast and furious. I don't know, you're sweating in here. It's 62 degrees.
Right.
A lot of people don't
That's what the thermostat
Oh.
says. 62 degrees. How cold do you want it?
disappears that way sometimes. And that's their problem. Not my problem.
So Yoshi's got the button here.
And I guess my wife is out of business now. She calls in sick one day, and Barry's already got another masseuse.
Limped around here 4 ways. Corey's still in the game, actually. Actually, 3 ways. 8, 4, 10 with a couple diamonds. It is 4 ways.
Yeah, David Kelsey got the best hand here, bottom pair. He's got a 4.
Well, Yoshi's going to bet with ace high. He's going to bet 225.
Well,
and
he's
that's
got
gonna
the
do it.
button. He's he's using his position.
Anyway, nice to meet you. No, leave it.
Man, what a magical turn card for Yosh.
Yeah.
He catches his straight, the nut straight, when Frank Mariani catches 2 pair, John has 2 pair, and Mo has a set. Man. Unbelievable.
Button's moved over here to Frank Mariani.
Mo's got an interesting hand. Mo's got Jack 9 suited.
He's in mid position, Dave.
Yep. King Queen offsuit for Barry.
19
And he's in
Barry
early
limps.
position.
Play poker for 19.
John's not going to play 10-7.
Ross is going to limp here with
Really,
10-4 diamonds. Wow. More limps.
10-4 over and out.
So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ways. Times 50. 250 to the flop. Ace, ace, king. Well, Barry's got the best hand here with the king.
See if he tosses a little bit of money in there.
Looks like he is going to.
This is one of those flops I don't mind if you want to take a free card. There's nothing there scary.
He's going to bet 250 here. Goes out of there.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can call this, obviously. Now, against some cagey players, like a guy like Jonas might, he might smooth call Barry. thinking Barry's got the king to set up a play later on. But I don't think anybody's going to do that, and nobody does.
No,
Barry shows the king. Button's going to move over here to David Kelsey and see. Kind of a quiet night over on 2+2. I'm a little bit surprised.
Well, they are missing a hell of a night of poker. I mean, this is great action. Unbelievable action here.
Russ is going to limp here. Jack 5 of diamonds under the gun, Dave. Wow.
Tell me this isn't a game you'd like to play.
Yosh just limped in with 8 deuce off suit in seat 1. 4-way
8 deuce offsuit.
4-way action here, $200 pot. King, Jack 10, rainbow. Or a couple of spades,
Well,
actually.
2 pair for Gore.
He's going to lead out with King 10 top and bottom.
And is Hollywood Henry ever going to come back in the game? West Hollywood Henry,
Maybe
that is?
not.
You know, he won about $4,000. That just might be enough for him. He might just call it a night.
Come on, gamble up.
Gore's going to take it down there.
You didn't jump the hand. Huh?
Boy, you know, Ed Shonazarian, he's a
you're
mover and a
fine.
shaker, Dave.
You're fine.
He's at the table, then he's gone, then he's at the table, then he's gone.
Well, every time he sits down, he goes broke. Unfortunately for him, it hasn't been his night. I mean, hey, if every time I sit down I'm going broke, I'm going to walk around lot too.
Button's going to move over here to seat 5. That's Gore. He's got pocket deuces. And Mariani's going to raise. He's going to raise to 300 here.
He's got, what, Queen 9?
Yep. Gore's calls.
Now, Mariani's not usually this aggressive, is he?
Now, might you raise here with deuces if the flop comes up something like, 5, 8, 9?
You might raise no matter what comes up.
Ace, King, 6 here.
Doesn't make a difference, though. Frank could have anything. Frank could be raising with 7 high. You have no idea. I mean, if you're going to play deuces in position, you might want to raise regardless.
Frank has checked it, and that's going to open the pot up for Gore, and Frank folds. Yeah, there you go.
I think Frank has a lot of respect for Gore's game.
Russ and I will suck it down. My diet's not starting till later.
But you might, I mean, if Mariani throws in a little, $600 bet there, you might make it $1,500 or even $1,200 and try to get a free showdown, and he might miss.
Again, you can watch the show in a live replay starting at 1 hour after the show, Dave, all the way up until
When I say out, doesn't mean
5 p.m. Pacific time the next day. Looks like Ed is leaving the game.
I mean, it's always tough, though, when you're playing against a guy like Frank Mariani because, you don't want to commit too many chips just to pocket deuces. But at the same time, there's a good chance it's probably the best hand.
Mo's going to move over to seat 2 from seat 9. Now, John in seat 8's got ace-king suited here.
In the big lines.
And look at Gus, and Russ, excuse me, he's got king-queen suited. He just completes. And John raises. These are heads up between the blinds. I mean, call me crazy. I probably raised there with king-queen suited in the small blind.
Do you?
And Russ calls, and if a king comes here, could be interesting. Here we go to the flop. Oh, ace 8 3, bad flop for Russ.
Yeah, pretty easy flop for king-queen to get out of.
John's going to bet, and I think he's probably going to take down the first pot of the night here.
His first win. Oh, John has popped his cherry. I'm so proud of him.
Again, we got about an hour left in the show.
Yeah, I'll give you a small blind strategy that I employ. I almost never raise out of the small blind.
Really?
Almost never. I mean, if everybody else is folding. Everybody else folds. I'm playing small blind, just a big blind. If I'm in the small blind, I almost never raise.
Kind of disguise the strength of your hand.
I almost always limp in, and I almost never raise. I'd say I fold maybe 15% of the time with the hands that are really awful, like Jack 3, 9 deuce, things like that. But if my hand is even somewhat connected, I will almost always limp in. But I'll also limp in with ace king. I might even limp in with jacks or queens.
$200 raise here by David Kelsey with ace 10. And Yosh is going to call here with ace 5 suited. 400 here. Here we go to the flop. Well, there's the ace, Dave. Ace jack 9.
Now, is Yosh going to get involved versus Kelsey? I mean, Kelsey's hasn't really gotten out of line all night.
I don't even know if Kelsey's going to bet this one hard after the flop bet. Kelsey bets 325, and if Yosh senses some weakness, he could check raise Kelsey off of this hand possibly.
Well, that's what he looks like he's going to try.
Yep.
Yosh also has backdoor spades. And he's going to give it one shot. Now, Now, the one thing Kelsey can do here, you can call
Well,
one
he
time.
calls immediately, 975 more, and a quick call.
Well, you can call one time here.
Yeah.
And now what does Yosh do? And this is what I was curious of.
$3,000 pot to the turn. It's an 8.
One more hand you can't beat. You can't beat ace 8 now. But David is now open-ended, and I think he's, well,
Check, check, and the river's a jack. And the 10 plays here, Dave.
yes, it does.
If Yost checks again here, or might Yost think that he's going to try to bet David off of a chop pot? Again, it's about
Man, you really think he's going to call you with a hand weaker than ace-8?
And again, did he raise with that hand?
Yeah, I mean, he raised.
So maybe Yost is trying to represent a jack, and he's going to throw a bet out here. He's going to bet 700, and I think that's a...
Yeah, but he makes it look like a value bet. He almost makes it look like he wants a call. He's almost betting it as if he had a jack.
But Kelsey's going to call, and ace-10's going to play for over $4,000. Another pot for David Kelsey.
Yeah, ace-10's going to play. 10 is going to play, and wow, big pot for Kelsey. That's the one problem. I always find it interesting. It's kind of a dilemma that I have in my game, and I see Yosh here and a couple players. It's one of those plays where if you make your bluff look like a value bet on the river, oftentimes you're enticing your opponent to actually call you.
Well, I hope so.
So it almost forces, like in that case there, the $700 bet into a, what, $2,000 pot? There's no way he's going to lay it down. But if you want to make your value bet, I'm sorry, if you want to make your bluff actually work, you need to almost bet more than a normal value bet would look, and then sometimes that looks fishy too. It puts you in an interesting dilemma. It's sometimes why I like to overbet my made hands.
Straddle here by Frank Mariani out of seat 3. Gore's limped in. Yosh is in there. Mo's in there. And Mariani's going to raise. He's going to make it 300 more, Dave, with Jack 3 offsuit. You know, I just don't think that's enough to get everybody out of the hand. Sometimes we talk about if you straddle and you never raise, there's no point in straddling. But if you're going to raise, you know, I like a little bit of a bigger raise. Here we go, about 1,400. And look at this, Frank flops trip jacks.
Well, if you're going to flop trip jacks, why not keep everybody in?
And he's going to come out and bet. He bets 800 here.
Yeah, nobody's got anything. I mean, if Frank gets played with here, he's probably behind.
I don't, yeah, that's way here.
Shows it. So I think we're going to get a new player in seat 9. We have a long board for this game. And it's Don't Call Me Allen. That's Allen.
I love Allen. He's a nice guy. I was kind of hoping for somebody new.
Yeah.
I was really kind of buttered up. I was like, ooh, maybe we get a new player in there. Nope, that's Allen.
Collection pot here. Buttons over there in seat 1, Yosh. And get folded around to Yosh on the button. Yosh has got an ace-10. I'm sure he's probably going to open raise here on the button.
Yeah,
He does.
it's pretty straightforward.
Going to make it 250 to go. And Frank Mariani's going to call here with 8-3 of hearts.
I think you've got to raise the ace-10 against Mariani there because you know he's going to call.
Wow, look at this flop. Ace-Jack-6, couple hearts.
500.
And Mariani's going to come out and bet with the flush draw. He bets 500. Now, if you're Yosh, what do you do here?
I think you just call this. If I'm Yosh, I just call this.
He
You're in
didn't call.
position.
The turn's the heart, and Mariani's got the flush.
Yeah, and Yosh is drawing dead.
And Frank's going to bet again. He's going to bet 800 this time.
And now you got to reevaluate it, obviously. Now you can lose to a heart. But Yosh
And
is going
Yosh
to call.
calls again. And the river's a fourth heart.
And Yosh has made 2 pair.
And I believe that Mariani's checked. Now, is Yosh going to check it because he's got 2 pair? The pot is almost $5,000. Quickly.
Now, this is the question. Can Yosh get Mariani off a heart? Because if he can't get him off a heart, there's no point in betting.
You made a flush?
Yeah, and he checked it behind him. And that might have gotten Yosh in a little trouble. The fact that he maybe made 2 pair on the river. Not betting there, trying to get somebody off of a weak card.
Yeah,
What a bad player he is.
Wow.
I think actually Frank missed a bet. I understand checking there with the hearts, but I think it's time to put a little bet in there, kind of a blocker bet, because you don't want to really be faced with a huge bluff there. If say you check it, you know, Yosh puts in 3,000, then what do you do? But unless Yosh has got the nuts there, he can't really come over the top of you.
Look at this email here by Mike Feineman. The button moves over to C2. Who's better than Dave? He plays poker for a living. His wife's a masseuse, and he gets paid to watch a great action game of poker and talk about it. No one's better than you. My friends call me the king. I denounce my throne to you. Long live King Dave.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm a king. I really do appreciate the email, Michael. I wouldn't call myself a king, but I am a lucky guy. I have a good life. I like my life.
Got a straddle here by Gore. He had ace rag on the button, Dave. He does not enter. He folds. And Gore actually has the same hand. Now, Mariani's in the small blind. He limps. We can't see what he has. He's got his chips out in front of his window. David Kelsey completes with 9-6 offsuit. And Gore's going to raise out of the straddle. This is what we're talking about. If you straddle, you might raise here. Frank calls.
Now, some people might say, well, Frank's going to call you every time, but you have position on Frank, so it's not that bad.
Queen 4-5 here. Gore's got a gut shot.
Yeah, he's still in the lead.
Frank checks and Gore bets. Bets 400. Frank folds. Gore's made a lot of money tonight just kind of betting when Frank has missed, using that position to his left.
Yeah. He's either calling raises or he's putting a small little raise, getting a heads up with Frank and then taking it away.
Yes, you do. But, hey,
Is that Henry still behind Gore
yes,
there?
you do. But you do five front.
Really sweating
You
Gore,
don't
huh?
care.
Yeah, they're good friends and they're always real close.
Yes, you do.
You mean in that way? Wink, wink.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I think Gore doesn't go that way, but who knows about West Hollywood Henry? Weho. You call him here?
The button's over in Frank Mariani's hand, seat number 3. Pocket deuces for Frank on the button.
Frank's made a nice comeback. His last $5,000 buy-in, he's actually up a little bit.
Now he's gonna raise 250. Now, might you re-raise here if you're Kelsey with King Jack? There's the man purse. That's Gore's man purse, and looks like Henry's going inside it. That's very disturbing.
When you're really friends with somebody, you can go into their man purse.
Kelsey is just gonna call here with King Jack.
I think we have.
And here we go to the flop. Queen 3-3. Frank is good here.
Might David just check and then fold to Frank's bet? We'll see.
Check by David.
Now you see that David actually is not that in bad shape because if a queen were to come off, he would be good as well.
I guess King Jack.
Frank's 2-pair would not be
I put
good.
him on ace king. I swear to God, I put you on ace king. I did. I said, these pocket
And you can
deuces-
email us at live@thebike.com. A little under an hour left in the
And
show.
look how great this guy. This guy is down like $17,000,
Hey, David,
and he is just having a blast.
Yeah.
pretty close. Nah, it's not, yeah, pretty close. Right.
Button's going to move over here to seat 4, David Kelsey.
I mean, the money he loses tonight, well, I think he pays Kobe that for every shot he takes, right?
That was my analysis, my friend.
You know, it always amazes me, Dave, that when we have a board so long for this game, it takes a guy like Allen half an hour to get into the game. I just don't
Drives me
understand
insane.
it. I mean, what is going on out there?
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if he doesn't get in the game in 5 minutes, get somebody else in the
I
game.
know. Button's over here in seat 5. Just run out there, Dave. Get him. Say, Alan, you got a minute to come over to the table. If not, we're going to roll over you.
Me? I saw that. I don't want to play that. I want you to play it out. I want you to play it out. Here's my fucking deuces.
Well, David Kelsey's got King 10 here, Dave, in the cutoff. And it's interesting because the blinds have legitimate hands, and so does Gore. Gore folds. Now, Barry Woods has got an ace 4 of hearts. David Kelsey raised. Barry's going to call. And Russ has got King Jack. He's going to call as well. So Russ has David dominated here. Here we go. About $600 three ways. Well, 9-6-6. Can Kelsey make a continuation bet because it's missed everybody?
Barry's been pretty quiet.
Checked around. The turn's at 3. We'll just open it up for Barry. Might he think he has the best hand here with ace high?
He might think he needs to take a shot at it.
Look at Russ. Russ is going to bet it. He's going to bet 275 here.
Hey, this is one of those, whoever bets it is probably going to take it down. I like the bet here by Russ.
David Kelsey showing Mary on his hand. Now, Barry has not folded here. He has not folded. The problem is that you can't beat any other ace high if you're Barry here, right?
All you can do here is raise.
And
And
he's
that's what
going to
he's
raise.
gonna
He's going to make it 600. He's snuffed out. This is one of Barry's strengths. He's good at reading players as well.
He is.
He snuffed out Russ's weakness here.
Well, he looks at it and he goes, you know what, maybe Russ has got like a pair of fives or something like that. I don't think he can call my raise, though.
There he is.
You got to realize that even if you think you have the best hand, if you call that bet, well, then you're probably faced with a big bet on the river as well.
Got an email here from my buddy Albert. Give a shout out to all the Bostonians. There you go, Albert.
Shout out.
You remember, and if Albert's listening, I gotta give him a call. Remember when we had Albert and my buddy Carlos was on the show, say 6-7 months back?
Oh, yeah.
Boy, did Albert play like shit that night. My God.
I mean, I wonder if it was just that night or is that how he plays normally?
Yeah, you never know. Button's gonna move over here to seat 6.
I'm actually dying to get my buddies out here. I want them all on the show one day so I can rip them apart.
Look at this. Yosh just limped under the gun with ace-king, and Mariani has raised it to 250 with queen-3 suited. Is Yosh going to pull the limp re-raise? Gore calls with a suited connector in seat 5, and is Yosh setting up this play here?
I would imagine he is. Let's see. Try to get Gore out of there and get the heads up with Mariani.
Yeah, he's going to raise.
Yeah? Oh, he is. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, and he made a big re-raise here.
He hit 1,300 more. And that's going to take it down.
Take down dead money.
Yeah.
Yosh is in a spot where he's got enough money on the table where if he puts in 1,500 there and somebody goes all in, he's going to call.
Yeah.
Somebody moves in with 4,000, he's now got 1,500 dead in there if he's going to call.
Look at Yosh with the Mexican food. Some refried beans, carne asada, Spanish rice. There it is.
I tell you, there are a couple of... They do Mexican food here really well. They do Korean food and Vietnamese
They do all
food
Asian
really-
food really well,
Yeah.
Dave.
The one thing they have no idea what they're doing here. Italian food.
Yeah, but that's because we're in L.A., Dave.
How hard is it to make Italian
I know,
food?
but it's L.A., man.
Oh my God, it kills me. All I want, once in a while, I want like some pasta, good pasta. Or how about like, a chicken marsala? No, none of that.
Yosh is straddled here, and we're going to see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ways, so it's a $600 pot. Ace, queen, jack, couple spades out there. Well, we got a weak ace in seat 7.
Yeah, Russ.
He's on the button, Dave. If it gets checked to him, is he going to bet? And he does. He bets 500 into an $800 pot. Allen is finally in the game. He's got 8-10. He folds. Yosh has got a dry flush draw. He calls. Now, oftentimes we don't say... we say you shouldn't call with a dry flush draw. The turn's a 9. But if you're up against a guy, Russ, who, if he's not comfortable with his hand, will check the turn like he does, you get 2 cards here.
Oftentimes against certain players, you can call
Right.
knowing you're going to get 2 cards for free. And get paid off if you hit your hands.
And Yosh just gives up.
Yeah. I'm just getting word from Isaac here. He told me the chef is Italian.
Really?
That's disgraceful. My grandma, my grandma was Italian. I'm not ragging on him, okay? I mean, I'm sure he busts his ass. And like I said, all the food here is really, really good. The Vietnamese food, the Korean food, the Chinese food, the Mexican food. But the Italian food sucks, okay? And it's about time we turned it around. I mean, who do you have to sleep with to get a good chicken marsala? I guess I have to sleep with Mario. I guess that's the answer. That's what Isaac just told me. I mean, they make spaghetti and meatballs here, but they're terrible.
Button's over there in seat 8.
I mean, he does work his ass off. I will tell you, try serving like 500 people food every single day.
Gore's going to open up here. He's going to raise 325 with queen 3 offsuit in early position. Just mixing it up here. Now, Mariani's got 10-8 offsuit here, Dave. And again, Gore might be attacking Frank's blind because Gore's made a lot of money heads up against Frank.
Why not? You know Frank's going to call you. If Frank misses, he's going to check you. You can bet and take it down.
Well, here we go.
And sure enough, Frank
Ace,
misses.
Jack 5. Well,
He checks.
Gore's gonna
Gore
bet.
bets. Frank shows, and he throws his hand away.
There it is. Gore's made a lot of money like that so far tonight.
Cha-ching, cha-ching. Hey, if he can do this once a round, and he can make, say, $300 or $400 off of Frank every single round,
Right.
hey, he can now afford to go to the Laker games.
Email here from Judy Monteleper. Monteleper?
Pretty good close.
Montelepre. Says John won a hand earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
He might have won a hand earlier.
I wonder if
Thank you
Judy
for-
might be John's wife.
Well, no, I don't even know. Let's see. I don't know. But thank you for the email. We do appreciate it. I'll tell you The Persian food is really good here. That is excellent.
Frank Mariani has raised.
Raise 600 more.
Good call there. That is, Judy is John's
Look
wife.
at this, Dave. We got a raise here by Frank with deuce 4 offsuit. David Kelsey's re-raised with jack 10, and Frank's going to come back over the top with deuce 4. Wow. And David is going to call. And we've got a $2,000 pot here going heads up, deuce 4 against jack 10. Well, there's the jack. Frank's got a wheel draw, and he's going to come out and bet.
And what do you do here, David? Now, you know that Frank gets out of line once in a while. The funny thing is, you look at the respect that Frank has for Gore. If Frank misses, he checks and folds to Gore. But to David, and look at him, he says, go away.
He's made a half.
Look at him, go away. He even tells him, go away.
He's made a half pot size bet here on the flop.
Here's what I got.
He says, go away. Maybe he knows the 5 is coming.
And don't try to bluff me on my hand.
Well, that's always nice. It's nice to know that John's wife is watching him play.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, I didn't even. I just got confirmation on that because we just got
Yeah.
John's release form. It's his last name. I didn't know that. I was just throwing it out there.
It could be his daughter.
Could be his daughter,
You're right,
sister,
yeah.
cousin.
Who knows? Until we hear, I'm going to assume it's his wife. But you wonder if that. Maybe that's why he's
When's
playing.
your wife going to email us, Tuckman? Does she
It's
watch
not
it?
the same.
I don't know. She's not feeling it. I told her.
My car's having same city.
I give her enough of a headache at home. I don't think she wants to hear me now.
Well, it is.
You wonder if John is playing it so tight and kind of ABC and so solid because his wife is watching.
Maybe.
Wait a minute.
Well, Frank is in the big blind. He's got king queen. He's been raising with a lot of hands, and he's going to make a mini raise here. He's going to make it 200 more. Kelsey calls with jack 10. John's got the same hand as Dave.
It's not really that. Is it really that much of a mini raise? I mean, that pot was. It's only $50 for Lembin. He makes it 250 more. I mean, 200 more.
Got 400
Right?
I don't know if you're going to drive anybody out. Here we go. 4-way action. $1,000 pot. Ace, queen, 6. Frank's got the best hand here with king 8. And he's bet 400 blind. David Kelsey's going to call with a gut shot to the king. Now, I might do that, Dave, if no one's behind me, and I hope that I have position. Well, he's going to get position. Maybe I can take it away from Frank. Frank checks blind. The turn's a queen, and now Frank's got trick queens.
And actually, David is drawing dead.
And
if the king
David's
comes.
going to bet. And Frank's got trick queens. He checked it blind. Spike trips on the turn. And Kelsey's going to bet 1,000 here.
And David is drawing dead. If a king comes, Frank fills up.
I'm going to raise this 1,000.
And look at this. Frank Mariani is going to check raise the minimum. Wow. And this pot now is approaching $6,000. It's 1,000 to call.
I don't go all in.
Hey, if you want to talk about reverse implied odds, somebody was asking that question before. If a king were to come,
Yep.
that's huge reverse implied odds.
I don't know if you want to mess on with that hand. But that's okay.
Yeah, and Kelsey just picked the wrong spot to make a move.
Why's the card? You mean 3 queens? Are you crazy?
Oh, we only got about 40 minutes left in the show. Again, as always, you can email us at live@thebike.com. Questions, comments, suggestions.
We really do appreciate it. Try to keep the show as interactive as possible. Hopefully it makes it fun for you guys and a lot of fun for us. Man, what a night of poker, huh?
Yeah, but it's going to move over here to Mo in seat 2. Got a straddle here by Gore from up front. And look at Mariani. He's got aces in the small blind. Oh, wow. Yosh is limped in with pocket 5s. And Mariani's going to raise.
And it's customary, $200 raise there.
Yeah, he's going to make it 300 to go.
Yeah.
There it is.
Now, the interesting thing is now, if Yosh knew what Frank had, he would call because of the huge implied odds. The problem is those Frank races with everything, you don't know what he has.
If Yosh flops a set here, well, king 6-6.
Yeah, it's not pretty really good there.
Frank's going to bet 400. Now is Yosh. He's going to make the call here. The turn's 7. Frank is still good. And I think Frank checked it. Frank checked it here. And Yosh is going to come out and bet. Wow.
Is Frank scared of a 6, or is he just slow playing it? Is he inducing the bluff?
Yosh is going to bet 1,200 here.
And look
And
at
Frank
this.
is going to check raise.
Oh, look at this bag of tricks that Frank had in his sleeve. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Pot is 5,000 plus this raise. He's going to make it 2,000 more.
Right. He's sticking the basketball right up Yosh's ass. Yeah, what do you have left?
Talking to myself. Talking to myself.
No, you're not talking to yourself, Yosh. You are talking to thousands of viewers.
Yeah, you're just going to get away from it there.
Gets away from it, obviously. Great check there. He induces the bluff
Yep.
from Yosh. Makes an extra $1,200 on that pot.
And a matchmaker.
Well played by Frank.
Huh?
I said I have bad timing.
Button's going to move over here to
Right,
seat
don't
3.
forget
And
about
Frank Mariani's on a roll. I don't know if we're going to get a chip count up here soon, but wow.
Interesting email here. Not email. Interesting post by 2+2er C Bloom. Why, oh why, are the 2+2ers in LA not destroying this game? Now, the big thing is, yes, anybody, you can play 1 cent, 2 cent, no limit hold'em and say, these guys are not playing well.
200.
But unless your bankroll can stand it, and unless you're really comfortable risking thousands of dollars, you cannot beat this game.
Frank Mariani is going to raise here with deuce 6 of spades, and Gore calls with ace 6, and there's the ace. Let's see how Gore's going to play this. Check on the flop, turn to queen. Let's see if Gore throws some money out now. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I know that you're not as familiar with some of the internet players
Yeah.
that I know, and I'm kind of not heavily involved with 2+2, but this guy is referring to guys that play on UB 2550 no limit that live in LA.
Hey,
He's not referring to 1 cent, 2
No,
cent,
right.
no
No,
limit
I know that.
players.
In that case, obviously, those players could clearly beat this game.
Right.
If you are comfortable with the stakes.
Right.
The only thing I'm pointing out is we know a lot of good poker players
Right.
who can't make the jump up to this game because they're just not comfortable with these stakes.
But there are a lot of guys that, multi-table, say, the 2000 games on Party and the big game on UB.
Right.
You know?
I mean, I think you could beat a 400, 800 Omaha game, but are you comfortable playing those stakes?
Straddle here by Russ. And John is just linked in here with ace-king, and Yosh has linked in with kings. And Yosh is trying to play the limp re-raise from back position, but he's not going to get it here. Yeah, I guess he was trying to trap Frank Mariani, Dave.
Yeah, well, he figured Frank Mariani would throw in his customary $200 raise,
Yeah.
but Frank is busy stacking chips.
And look at that, the ace comes right off. Ace, jack, 8 here.
Well, it's an easy flop to get away from.
I'll tell you in a minute.
John's going to throw it a bet, and if Yosh has been paying attention, these kings should easily go in the muck, and they do.
And that's Yosh's strength here.
Yeah.
Yosh is very aware. He's very focused. He knows who's in the hand.
Yeah.
And he notices that John has not played a hand all night. He's played maybe 3 hands. Easy fold. And that's the difference between a player like Barry Woods. Barry Woods is a good poker player, but he might not have paid attention, and he might have paid off John.
Yeah, he might pay him off on the flop on the turn. We're like, Barry, what are you thinking there with
Yeah.
kings, buddy? It's just hard for him to get away from the hand. Maybe
Yosh
he was bluffed as a child. You know what I mean?
I mean, Yosh is, that's Yosh's strength.
Yeah.
Is really, reading players, being aware of who he's playing against.
Got a $200 raise here by Frank Mariani. That was what Yosh was looking for. But again, like you said, if someone's busy stacking their chips, they might not play in that hand.
Especially if you're stacking your chips.
Yeah. Hollywood Russ is going to call there out of seat 7. He's got queen 8 offsuit. And Yosh is in there with 9-10. Here we go. King, jack 3, couple of hearts. He's missed everybody.
Now,
Checked around.
I
Turns a 10. Russ is now open-ended. And now Yosh, I think, is going to bet. He's got a gut shot, and he's got a pair of 10s. He has the best hand. He bets 500.
Man, I just don't understand. I really just don't understand what Russ is doing. Yeah, I mean, sometimes he plays it really, really well, and then sometimes, if you think Frank is getting out of the line, I can understand, okay, I'm going to call you with some more hands because I think you're getting out of line, but what value does Queen 8 offsuit have?
Right. Yosh takes it down there with the 9-10. And Mo is oh so ever quiet in C2. You know, if you missed the early part of the show, you can watch it on a replay or watch it in the archives. Again, the replay starts an hour after this show. Mo, I got to tell you, he really misplayed a set and he got killed, Dave.
Yeah.
And it was an exact case where if he raised, he probably would have gotten all of John's money.
Yeah.
Instead, he lost a bunch of money.
It was literally a $10,000 mistake if you look at it, where he probably should have won a $5,000 pot
Yeah.
instead of lost $5,000.
Let's take a look at a chip count here. Almost 77,000 on the table. Well, Frank has made a comeback here. I think he might be up about 10 grand from the last chip count.
Yeah, and he's still down for the night, but nice comeback for him.
Let's take a look at the differences now. Yosh is up 8,000. Gore up almost 4,000. David Kelsey's down a little bit now. Now he's back up to 22. And Mo's the big loser now, 58.
Frank, though, hint to Frank. Frank was down about $16,000.
Yeah.
And now he's only down $4,600. I mean, that's got to be viewed as a win almost.
Limp, limp, limp here, and Barry Woods is going to raise it to 250 on the button with ace-jack offsuit. Russ calls in the small blind with king 10 of hearts. Allen's in there with a suited ace-3. Mariani's in there, and Gore's in there with deuce 5.
And we got, what, a 12 draw pot?
$1,250 here. 5 ways, 250 times 5. Here we go. 10, 4, 3.
Well, there's deuce 5 for you. How about deuce 5?
Yep. Gore's open-ended. Russ has got the top pair. Russ did not bet with king 10. It gets checked over to Barry.
I gotta tell you, if I'm Barry on the button, I take a card. I'm not betting that. No way. Not against 5 players.
Dead yet. Oh, thinking how much here?
Now, is Russ going to check raise him? Is that what Russ was trying to go for? I mean, if you're going to call with king 10, I mean, what are you going to do?
I mean, you really think none of your opponents have a 10, and he's going to bet anyway. He's going to put a little continuation bet and see what happens.
He's going to bet 600. He's betting half the pot. And if you're Russ, I think you got to raise here, and he does. If he's going to play it like this, I like the way he's played it now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
He bet 6, he raised 6 to make it 12.
He's made a mini raise here.
And you imagine, is Gore going to call this now with an open-ended straight
Two
shot?
flush out there with diamonds. He gets away from it.
He's not going to play it. And Barry's going to lay this down, I'm pretty sure. It's Russ raising you.
Well, oftentimes, I have this conversation with you, Dave. You like to raise a lot on the button. You might get this multi-way. And you usually say 80-90% of the time it gets checked to you. I'm going to assume I have the best hand and bet on the button. But in certain cases here,
This is one of those 10%.
yeah, it's just you don't know where you're at. It's a dry-heavy board if you bet and get called. You just
80 to 90% of the time, the problem is you've raised on the button, the flop is completely missed you.
yeah.
10, 3, 4 with 2 diamonds. If you bet there, the problem is the pot is now 1,200, and if you want to put a real bet out there to take it down, you've got to put about $1,000 out there.
Yeah.
And if you get called, you have no idea where you're at. I mean, I like to bet with at least some sort of a draw, some sort of escape hatch where I can at least, find it and get out.
Got an email here, interesting, by Chris, Chris Mastalone. Talking about Frank Mariani having probably no regard for the money that he's playing with, obviously.
Right.
Saying that, some of the top poker players can play like that in tournaments because $10,000 might not mean enough to Phil Ivey and get real creative, not concerned about losing, obviously. It's a good point.
Phil Ivey was actually complaining. He got to the point where he said he no longer even wanted to play the $5,000 events because he said he started playing it too much like a donkey because the money didn't mean anything to him.
You know what? He got nominated in the celebration.
Heads up here. Frank against Yosh. Frank raised here, and Yosh called him heads up. Turns a queen. Checking. Huh? Yeah, now, actually, Frank's going to bet now on the turn. And I'm surprised that Frank actually didn't bet that flop.
I mean, sometimes the opponent that I find the most scary is the guy who's a pretty decent poker player and has no regard for money. I mean, that guy is scary because he's fearless.
Button's going to move over here to seat 8. That's John.
Thank you for the email. Super.
Got beat up by Jennifer
Oh,
Kelly as
Albert.
Celebrity Player of the Year.
Oh, whatever.
That's why I was waving off.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
350.
Well, I love this. He's going to be in the LA area Memorial Day weekend.
Look at this. Now Gore's attacking Yosh's blind. He's going to race 350 with Jack 3 of spades here. Now Mariani limped from up front with Jack 9 of clubs. And it's actually Gore attacking Frank because Frank is called and they're heads up in this situation again. Gore's won this 4 times tonight.
Now, Gore is badly dominated, but he's not playing his cards. He's playing the player.
Yeah. How much money is Gore going to win from Frank here by betting on the flops and taking it down? This is going to be the 5th time here, Dave. This is amazing
And
stuff.
once again, I mean, it's just $300 at a time.
Kind of a quiet subplot to the night, Gore versus Frank. Gore continues to increase his chip stack once every round against Frank Mariani.
Yeah, pretty much $300 around.
Yeah.
It's not a bad way to make a living.
Yeah, she has a mean ace looking about.
And I got to return, I have a lot of respect for Yosh, and I have a lot of respect for Yosh's game, but I don't think Nolan and Hold'em is his best game. If you look at tonight, if you take away that one hand, he's actually down. I mean, he won $19,000 in one hand. He's actually only up $8,000 for the night.
Guys, I go through life.
Next hand.
Button's going to move over here to Allen, seat number 9. Got about 20 minutes left in the show. 30 minutes left in the show.
Get an email from Brian from New York, and I'm going to address it in a second.
And Russ is going to raise here, Dave. He's going to make it 251 off the cutoff. He's got ace-8 offsuit. Now, Gore limped in early position with 7-8 of diamonds. He's going to call heads up out of position.
2 players.
And this is the kind of hand that both players miss. Russ has been following through.
Well, Gore's got a flush
Wow.
draw. King 5-3. Gore checks. Russ
And
is
sure enough,
gonna
Russ
bet
has
here.
followed through.
What is Gore going to do?
Keep it that way.
Now with Russ betting it, I'm probably feeling safer that he probably doesn't have anything.
Really?
Yeah, well, the way he's played it tonight,
You don't think he'd bet ace king or king queen there?
Well, that's the way he's been playing, and he hasn't been betting ace king or king queen. He's been betting when he has
They're
nothing.
blocked, Frank. I hear nothing.
Gore's going to call here. And once again, we talk about you might get 2 cards here and be able to bluff the river. The turn's the jack. Let's see if Russ checks the turn here. Gore checks.
I would imagine Russ is one of those one-shot guys. He'll take one shot at it. I would be surprised if he bet here.
And he checks. Let's see if Gore misses if he bets the river. Well, the river's a 9, and Russ is totally missed.
And Gore's got to bet this. He has 8 high.
The pot is about 1,500 here, folks.
Now, Russ has induced this bluff if it comes. Will he call him with ace high? That's
But
the
you've
question.
talked about the fact that the hand with ace 8 might not be good enough to a bluff catcher.
Exactly.
On the, on the
It's one of the reasons why you might want to bet that turn.
No,
Now, Gore's not going to fire.
wow.
Now, I'm surprised Gore did not fire that.
I am really surprised.
And look at him, he goes, damn it.
It's funny. I'm surprised, Gore has obviously we get involved with every hand. And, it's one of my weaknesses, Dave. I feel sometimes when I'm playing out at the table, I don't pay attention, say, as much as yours, say as much as I should.
Well, it's harder because you got to realize that obviously we see everybody's hands.
Right.
When you're at the table, you don't get to see that many hands because not that many hands go to showdown.
Right.
Usually there's a bet and then somebody folds and the other guy just mucks his hands, so you don't see any cards. So you don't really know that this guy is playing it this way or that guy's playing it that way. Now the email I wanted to address really quick before I get to the next hand. Here, Brian from New York says, I played for many years, but for some reason I've never been lucky enough to get in such a game of fish. How can players play this bad with so much money at stake? It's freaking amazing. And I'm going to challenge you that you probably have played in a game that has this many fish, or even a better game than this, but you don't know it. You don't realize it because you don't see the cards.
Look at this. Mariani has made a mini raise to 150 out of the big blind, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way action. It's about a $900 pot, and Frank has got an open-ended straight draw with a flush draw.
He's got a huge hand there.
9-4.
Now, David's got a queen, and so does Yosh. And how is this going to go down?
And look at David. He's going to raise here with Queen 10.
And is Yosh going to get involved with Queen 7? I think it's an easy muck for Yosh.
Oh, yeah, with David raising. But Frank's hand is big enough to come back over the top here with Jack 10 of
Oh,
clubs.
yeah, and if Frank re-raises, what do you do with Queen 10?
Pot now is about 1,400.
And sure enough, Frank is going to raise this. I love the play by Frank.
He's going to make it 1,000 more, and now it's a $2,800 pot, 1,000 for David to call.
And you can see Frank is actually a favorite against David here.
He's
Heads
actually
up.
raised 2,000 more. So 3,800, 2,000 call.
And I got to tell you, at this point, I mean, might you just throw away a 10, queen here?
You won't see my hands, so whatever. That I guarantee.
Kelsey's really thinking here, but obviously he can't beat a real queen. I mean, these are the types of draws that you really like in No Limit Hold'em. Again, it's a $3,800 pot, 2,000 a call.
I mean, it's always tricky to play a hand like Frank's out of position because let's say David just smooth calls you here.
And you miss on
And
the
the
turn.
what do you do on the turn? Might you put out a little blocker bet, like another $2,000 bet to see the river? It always puts you in a tough spot. If you're in position, I love Frank's hand.
What is David going to do here?
But you can see that Frank is a favorite over David right now.
I just think, obviously we are privy to see the hand, but, David, I think he can pick his spots better, Dave, against Frank, but he's gonna move all in.
And Frank's going to call this.
1,000.
He's going to move all in for another, was it 2,000? Another 2,000?
Yeah, and it's an easy call for Frank. It's a virtual coin flip here. Frank's a little bit of a favorite.
It's another 3,000 that he's moved in here for. And the pot is 11,000, 3,000 a call. You wonder if Dave Kelsey's going to ask Frank if he might want to run it a couple times. And I don't know if Frank does. This is a coin flip for $11,000.
I can't imagine Frank ever running it more than once. Why would you run it if you're Frank Mariani?
$11,000 coin flip here.
The whole point of it
Here we
is
go.
here to gamble.
The turn is a 4. It's a blank. And the river's a club. And Kelsey goes bust.
And Frank wins it big time.
You know, again, I really like the way that David played. That was an $11,000 coin flip. But I gotta think that you might be able to pick your spots a little bit better.
Yeah, and Kelsey said, I had the best hand in the flop.
Yeah.
I guess in theory he had the best hand in the flop, but not really. He was an underdog.
Right.
Wait a minute. Next hand.
Well, you talk about the swings in big no limit, Dave.
I just bet
Again,
Dave, I got a
that's $11,000 I'm down as opposed to $11,000 I'm up by that club coming on the river.
I mean, the only thing you're wondering is... and look at this, Frank Mariani is now even for the night.
Yeah.
Is that amazing?
Wow.
The only thing I'm wondering is, what is the worst hand Frank Mariani could have had there? Ace high flush draw?
Yeah, that's what Kelsey's got to think through his head there. I mean, Queen 10.
There's no fold equity.
You can't be Queen Jack, can't be King Queen, and there is no fold equity.
There's no fold equity because once the pot is $3,800, you're putting in $3,000 more. Frank's not going to fold.
Yeah.
Unless he's on a pure bluff.
I think that Kelsey got sucked in by Mariani's image. But I got to tell you, Mariani has not been that out of line. He hasn't made an out of line move as a re-raise against a solid player all night. He's re-raising David Kelsey. Have we seen him be out of line like that all night?
Well, that's the thing. He'll raise pre-flop with any two cards. He might even bet out with any two cards. He might even raise with a draw. But he's not going to bet you raise and now re-raise you without, I'm talking minimum, I'd say ace-high flush draw, which would still give him 12 outs. And you know what? I'm all for gambling once in a while, but can't you pick a better spot?
Ace-king is 2 overs, too.
Yeah, but can't you pick a better spot than Queen 10? What happens if Mariani just had ace-queen there? Or king-queen there, and now you're drawing the 3 out.
Queen-jack, Dave. Queen-jack.
I'm thinking with Queen 10 there, at best, you're probably a 60% favorite. And at worst, you're maybe a 15% chance of winning the pot. And you're somewhere in between.
Look at this. Barry's raised it here. Ace-king suited. We don't know what Frank has. Ross has got the same hand. Gore's in there. And we don't know what Frank has.
Frank's probably got something like 7-4.
Let's guess his hand.
7-4
here.
Let's see if he bets it.
Is Barry going to continue? No, it gets checked around, Dave. Wow, the turn is a jack, and now Russ has got straight draw and flush draw. And Frank is going to bet 200. Now,
I still maintain that Frank's got a 7 high.
Barry calls. Now, can you raise here if you're Russ? He just calls. Talk about big draw. You might raise there, and the river's a 10. We don't know what Frank has, but neither other player have a pair.
I'm telling you, he's got 7 high.
He's going to bet 1,000 here, Dave. Barry folds.
Well, he might. You know what? I just don't. I think he bets the 10. What does he have there? Jack 10. Wow.
Wow, what a flop.
I was pretty close.
He turned 2 pair there. And I was wondering, I was thinking,
Good read by the huckster, huh?
Frank bets 200, Dave. Frank bets 200. Barry calls in between. We always talk about how there's a lot of dead money, and sometimes with a hand as big as Rush, you can raise from behind there. He had ace-king of spades. Now, it is against Frank, and I know there isn't necessarily a whole lot of fold equity. In that case, you probably would have got re-raised off the hand.
That's the problem with sometimes raising your big draws there. You take the risk of getting re-raised off your big draw.
Then you can email us at live@thebike.com.
Obviously, that's the one thing with Frank Mariani. You never know what 2 cards he has. I was surprised he actually checked top pair on the flop.
Yeah.
Then he turned 2 pair, and he bet it. And then the river was full house.
800 on top.
Wow, we get a re-raise here by Yosh. 800 more. Barry raised with 8s, and Yosh is re-raised with 10.
800 more.
And Barry's going to make a quick call. Well, they're both deep.
Well, I don't mind this call at all. They're both deep.
Here
Real
we
deep.
go. About 1,900. Oh, now is Barry going to get involved, though, Dave? Is he going to notice who he's playing against? It's a $1,900 pot here. And these are the types of calls that sometimes Barry makes that make you want to pull your hair out of your head if you're rooting for Barry.
Wow.
And look at this, Yosh bets, and Barry doesn't even think twice about calling. And this is what I'm talking about. A quick call here. Now, is he going to try to represent clubs? The turn is a 4. The pot is now $5,000.
Barry needs only an 8 to win this pot.
Actually, it's about a $5,800 pot.
And if you're Yosh, you know that if you put the guy on just like, you put him on clubs or you put him on just a pair, say jacks or nines or something like that, might you just kind of milk him?
And Yosh knows Barry. Barry used to play in this game when Yosh did, and Yosh probably knows the value of that Barry.
The only interesting thing is if you put him on clubs, you don't want to give him the price to draw you.
He's going to bet $2,500 here, Dave.
Wow.
Now, that's a less than half the pot size. It's $8,300, $2,500 to call.
How much? 8,300?
Yeah.
8,300, 2,500 to call. You know what though? I mean, what do you just automatic? If you have 8s there, you automatically put Yosh on ace queen or ace king. I mean, isn't there a chance that Yosh has an overpair? And you see how badly Barry is in here. He's in terrible shape.
Again, this is, we love Barry, but he just didn't even think on the flop.
Well, I mean, I can see you call one time, but the problem is, where's your plan? What happens on the turn if you don't hit your set?
I mean, he's used to get a big
8,300, 2,500 here to call.
Are you kidding me? I mean, that's gold.
Man, I mean, you can't beat nines, you can't beat jacks, you can't beat queens, you can't beat kings. I mean, all you can beat here is like, ace jack of clubs, ace queen of clubs.
Let me throw something out there. If Barry makes this call and the river pairs a low card, you value bet again on the river, right, if you're Yosh?
Yes, I do.
Without a doubt, right?
The deuce of the 4 or the 6 pair, I'd probably bet this. On the river.
This is unbelievable stuff.
You want to change it, right? You want to change it?
Nah, it's okay.
That's okay. That's okay.
Don't worry about it.
I gotta tell you, if Barry checks to me on the river, I probably value bet it.
Now he's going to get away from it there, dude.
He throws it away. At least he threw that away.
Yeah.
And I don't mind the call on the flop. I mean, I'm sorry, on the pre-flop.
Yeah.
Because he had enough money where if he hit his 8, if that flop came out, say, 10-8 deuce, he might get, say, $6,000 or $7,000 off of Yosh.
Yeah, they're both deep. Looks like seat 5 is out of the game. Okay, new setup.
Yep, Gore's taking a break. He's going home. Gore was a nice winner tonight.
He's been here.
We've only got about 25 minutes left in tonight's show, unfortunately. But you can catch us every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 p.m.
Tomorrow night, Dave, we're going to have do a little interview on the side with you and Vince Bergio out there.
I am?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
Got a
First I've heard of it. I actually, it's
Do
funny.
your homework.
I know, it's funny. I actually had, I sat with Vince in our deli here for about an hour and a half during the Legends, and we talked. Very interesting guy, really nice guy, so I'll have a lot to talk about. I've checked out his website.
Button's going to move over here to seat 4. Kelsey is rebought here, Dave. See how much it is.
And that's the nature of No Limit. The curse of No Limit Hold'em is you can play pretty solid all night, win a couple of $1,000s, and make one mistake, and it'd be a big mistake.
And again, I know David, he loves to talk to us about strategies. And, sometimes he talks to it so much, I'm like, if he thinks it's the right play, I'll back off. But that is a mistake. He's got to pick his spots better. There's no way he can defend himself on that hand.
Well, the problem is that's the best he's going to be.
Yeah.
It's pretty much 50-50. Even he's actually lucky that Mariana didn't even beat already.
Right.
But that's the nature of No Limit. You can play great for 4 hours, make one mistake, and lose all of your profit plus what you bought in for.
We got a raise here by Yosh, and Frank is called here. Flop comes out 5-6-8. Check on the flop. The turn's a 7.
Wow, and Frank has got the absolute nut straight here.
Yep.
Obviously, there are 3 hearts out there.
And he's going to bet.
But he would kill anybody with a 9 or a 4.
He bets 200 here. Yosh is out of there.
Yeah, Yosh does not have a heart in his hand.
I'm not going to be like that and go broke.
Once again, we're live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here at Bart Hansen, and you've been watching No Limit Hold'em. Blinds are 25-50. This is an unrestricted buying game, and we have over 80,000 on the table.
Now, obviously, most of our viewers that watch this show are not going to play at this level, and this is more of an entertainment value. But check out tomorrow where we kind of play a smaller level. It's probably going to be a $200 buy-in, restricted buy-in game. And again, we do it at all levels. It's a great learning tool live at the bike. Anybody who ever watches the circuit, we were on there about a month ago. Check it out at cardplayer.com. Nice little show that Scott Huff does. Pocket Kings here for Hollywood Russ.
One of the things I love about the show is the fact that we have $80,000 on the table tonight, and tomorrow night we'll have $1,800.
We got a raise here by Mo with Queen Deuce of Hearts.
500.
We got a call by Frank, a call by Barry. And Russ is going to repop it up here 500 more with kings. Mo was just trying to open it up there a little bit. Hey, look at Mo. One mistake cost him a whole bunch of money here, too.
Yeah,
And that's the only hand that we saw him play.
Really a $10,000 swing, and if you want to think about it, I think it's pretty much a $10,000 swing for Kelsey and a $10,000 swing for Mo.
Yeah.
And we're talking one mistake, and this is big no limit hold'em.
Right.
So one mistake can really cost you big.
Okay, I got 4,000.
And I am still waiting to play a mistake-free session of poker. I don't think I've ever done it in my life.
Well, I don't want to get into the hand because I think it will complicate things. But when you came here today, I think you made a mistake that cost you some money. And I told you.
Clearly.
Yeah, I'm a little more familiar with some of the daytime players, and
Right.
you're not. But, you know.
Well, I knew the game was pretty live, which
Yeah.
is why I sat down
Yeah.
real quick.
$200 raise here. Looks like by Frank Mariani. 5-4 clubs. Queen Jack is called. David Kelsey. Barry's called with an ace-9. Sean's in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-way action here. $1,200 pot to the flop. Wow, ace-9. What a flop for Barry. Nobody else has an ace.
Man, this is one of those dreams. You just hope somebody has an ace. Come on, somebody have an ace. And this is one of those flops. I don't mind betting this because nobody will put me on an ace. And Barry's going to bet it. I like it.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to put me on an ace.
He's going to be pissed when everybody folds.
Yeah, you might get a call, and unfortunately for him, John had the 7s. If somebody else had the 7s, he might have gotten a call.
Yeah.
You might get called by anybody who has pocket 10s, pocket jacks, pocket queens, and if anybody has an ace, they might even slow play it on you, thinking, oh, this guy's got a 9, I'm going to slow play it.
Barry's got to be real pissed. Let's see if we can get a shot of Barry after this hand, man. Oh, he's going to be pissed off, Dave. Wow.
Look at him shaking his head, laughing. God, son of a-
Oh, he shows it.
Wow. I'll tell you, that could win.
And showing that is a little bit of good advertising in the sense that people now know that Barry will bet his strong hands right away.
That's right. Now, again, I'm not a big proponent, I know you're not either, of showing big laydowns because you become a target. I think a lot of people like to show laydowns because it makes it seem like they're a good player. But if I'm going to make a big laydown, like I said when I mocked my bottom set last week, I'm not showing that hand to anyone. I'm quietly mocking it. They might put me on nothing. Let's take a look at a chip count here. Almost 80,000. And look at Frank Mariani. My God. Let's take a look at the differences here.
And look at this. Look at Frank now. He's up $2,500. We're talking about an $18,000 swing from Frank Mariani. It was amazing. I mean, I went on the Lakers website, and there was actually they were going to bump ticket prices by $1. But now they've lowered it.
Look at this. Mo has pulled the limp re-raise under the gun to Frank Mariani's raise with pocket deuces. Frank is already folded. So Mo's going to pick up some dead money here with pocket deuces up front.
You're a sick man.
Well, that's what your image. I mean, he hasn't played many hands.
No, why not? I mean, I agree with you 100%, though. I want people to think that I call down all the time. I want people to think that I'm Barry Woods. I never lay a hand down. I will call you no matter what. I'll call you at ace high if I think you're bluffing, okay? And I want people to think that. Because if I know people won't bluff me, it really gives me a lot of power.
And what an addition Allen's been to the table, huh?
Yeah, he's been great.
And he's gone again. Got a straddle here, I believe, by Kelsey. Yep. Can't tell if it's a straddle or a little mini raise. I think he made it 125, Dave.
Yeah,
7
it is.
10 of clubs. Mariani's going to call it 9-3 of clubs, and Mo's in there with ace-6. Here we go to the flop. King 9-5 here. Well, Frank's got middle pair. Is David going to make a continuation bet? This time, I don't think Frank's going anywhere. $400 bet here. Frank's got middle pair. He doesn't have a kicker. Wow, look at that. Well, sometimes when you win a lot, Dave, you seem to kind of play a little bit better. You don't push as much.
Exactly. There's always a saying, you don't bluff a guy who's been losing all night.
Well, he hasn't. He makes the call.
But you know what I mean? You don't bluff a guy. He's been losing all night. Don't bluff him.
Turns is 6. Kelsey's got a draw now. It's a third heart.
What draw?
He's got a gut shot to the 8. And he's going to bet again here.
Well, he has to.
He
He's
bets
10 high.
200. And Frank is going to call. I don't know if that's giving much information. Here we go to the river. The river's a deuce. Now what? check. I mean, he's built up a pot. Does he have enough to bluff Frank off the hand?
But it's almost like he's betting it like he has a flush.
I mean, the pot is about 1,800. He's going to bet 400 here on the river. There's actually a $1,500 pot and a $400 bet here
I mean,
on the
this
river.
screams a value bet.
And Frank calls.
And I pointed this out before. That's the problem with making a value bet bluff on the river.
Right.
You're making it look like a value bet, but oftentimes you're pricing your opponent in there to call you.
What? What did you learn?
One of the reasons why when you're, to me, if you're value betting, I like big value bets. If you've got a flush there, make it 1,200 to go. If the guy doesn't call you, so be it. But that way, when you bet the bluff 1,200 on the river, he doesn't call you then either.
Yeah, sorry, there's something over here.
It's also a way, sometimes you can pick up on these kind of tells by players where if they're betting big, they're bluffing, and if they're betting small, they're value betting.
I was trying to think if maybe Kelsey was keeping that pot, keeping ammunition to bluff the river. You know, sometimes we've seen that mistake where someone might not keep enough ammunition to bluff the river.
Yeah, I don't mind the $200 bet on the turn if you're going to follow up with a $1,000 bet on the river. But like I said before, you might as well put a bow tie on those chips.
Mariani's going to raise it here out of the small blind. He's got pocket tens here. And Kelsey's going to call with Queen Jack, and Kelsey's getting short now.
I mean, is he tilting now? Is this a Kelsey?
I've never really seen Kelsey chip. Rutt's got pocket sevens, and he's going to re-raise, Dave. He's pulling the limp raise, re-raise against Frank Mariani, but I don't think Frank's going anywhere with tens.
Yeah, and this is players not being perceptive. A player like Yosh is so good at this, but a player like Russ is not aware of the fact. Oh,
and Frank folded it immediately. Well, look at that. Wow.
Wow. What a play by... Hey, put my foot in my mouth there, but I'm going to tell you something. You said it even better. Once a player is winning, suddenly he's not playing as much garbage hands.
Yeah.
Frank is not really getting out of line anymore, and the players at the table need to adapt.
Email here from Kevin. He says, do you or Bart ever go to Vegas to play poker specifically? What do you think of the play and rooms compared to normal Cali games? Kevin from Vegas, I got to tell you, from my personal experience, I don't have all that much experience with Vegas poker. I might have played there maybe 7 or 8 times. And I think neither one of you or I, since we've been doing the show, have been back to Vegas since the World Series last year.
I have a lot of experience playing in Vegas only because I went to Vegas. I actually rented a house for 6 weeks last year during the World Series. And I pretty much played poker every single day. And I went there specifically to play poker.
Three-way action here. Queen, Jack, 9. Limped around and in the blinds. No one has anything. Turns a 10. Well, Barry's got an 8 now, Dave, for the bottom end of the straight.
Yeah, that's worth about that much.
He's going to bet 100 here. It's the third spade on board. Now, Yoshi's got 5 of spades. He also has a straight draw to the king.
Okay.
If an 8 came out, and maybe he's playing the position against Barry, could he take it away from here on the river? Well, the river's 5. Barry's going to bet again. $1.25 here. And is Yosh going to make a move here? He might sense that Barry's a little bit weak. But again, you know, if you try to make a move against a guy like Barry, would he lay a king down here if he had a king, if Yosh was trying to represent the flush?
Yeah, it's hard to make a move when you're not sure if the other guy might have the nuts.
Yeah.
Especially against a player like Barry. But it's weird, you know, comparing California card rooms to Vegas card rooms. I think the card rooms in California, you clearly have a better, more tables to choose from, more games to choose from as well, depending on what you play. But I like the rooms better in Vegas. You know, there's more to do in Vegas, obviously.
Limp here. Winding down towards the end of the show.
We're so far. Let's look at fucking aces.
I mean, during the World Series, I think the place to be is actually in Vegas.
New player coming into Seat 5, that's another Barry.
The other 10 months out of the year, I mean, I think LA is the place to be.
5-way action here, limped around. 10, 8, 9 with a couple hearts. Frank's got top pair and an open-ended straight draw. And look at Yosh's hand. He's got a pair and a flush draw.
Yeah.
8, 5.
Now, Frank has the jack of hearts in his hand as well.
And Russ is going to bet on an open-ended straight draw. Yosh calls. Yep.
Ugh.
And Frank is just going to call. And Barry's got queen 6. He's got a gut shot to the jack. And if he gets 7 comes, he's got the ass end that way. Here we go to the turn. The turn's a 3, and Yosh has got the flush. Now, Barry's got a higher flush draw.
And Frank has one as well.
Yosh is going to gets checked to him. He's going to bet 600. Frank quickly calls.
And that's probably going to get Barry out of the hand. And if another heart comes, Frank will probably win this one. Barry cannot call this here.
He folds.
Can't overcall when the player with only the queen there.
Here we go. $2,000 to the river, and Frank needs a heart.
Just look on his hand.
The river's a 9.
Not going to do it.
Now, he might still get a little value call here. Yosh might value bet here. Frank still has top pair. And Yosh is going to looks like he's cutting out 2,000. And Frank is going to raise. No, he made the call. Excuse me. It looked like he raised there for a second. Dave.
Yeah.
He called.
No, I had a good hand.
Wow.
I didn't think.
I mean, he called like that. Dave.
Yeah. I guess he really put Yosh on nothing. I mean, he thought Yosh was bluffing him.
Okay,
And that's just like that. What, $7,000 pot?
Yeah. Yosh is just continuing to kill up.
Yeah.
My goodness. Well, this is going to be the last hand of the night.
Oh, man, what a night of poker, I tell you.
Again, you can watch this show if you haven't caught the whole thing. When a replay, it starts an hour from now, and it goes 24/7 all the way up to 5 p.m. tomorrow. You can also sign up for the archives and get quick access to this show. It'll be up tonight, and you can manipulate the stream. Barry Woods has the button over here in seat 6. Kelsey's got ace-queen, and he's on the short stack from seat 4 here, Dave. Cannot see Frank Mariani's hand in seat 3. He's limped.
And he's got 7 high again, I'm going to assume. Every time I can't see his cards, I'm going to assume he has 7 high.
350.
Kelsey's going to raise here to 350. Barry's going to call with pocket 7s. Wow. And that is Barry,
Yeah.
seat 5.
Well, you played with him a couple of times, haven't you?
Frank has got deuce-4 off suit. And wow, look at the amount of people that have called Kelsey. 4-way action here. About a $1,400 pot. And Yosh's hit top pair. 10 deuce 5.
Hey, he outflops. He was in bad shape, but he outflops everybody. Frank's got a pair of deuces.
He checks it.
He checks it.
Frank, Kelsey checks. And Barry is going to bet here with 7s, it looks
Barry,
like.
he is really aggressive. He's a very aggressive player.
He's going to bet 1,000.
And he's also a player that really, he's fearless. He does not care about the money, and he's in there to gamble.
Now for Yosh, what do you do here? You're out of position. 2 people check between you and the better. But you do have 2 people that act behind you.
Yeah, the problem is the button. It's the button who's raised this, who's
Or
bet this.
yeah.
I mean, it's the guy in last position, so you can't put him on much. And Yosh is trying to decide, do I get involved or not? And now he's going to pick a better spot. I
You
mean,
can see
winning
that
poker
from-
players throw away winning hands all the time.
Frank's got 2 racks of chips under Barry's pocket 7s there on the left-hand side. 2 full racks of white chips, 20,000 in front of him.
Yeah. And Frank's got bottom pair. I mean, he's actually behind Barry, and now that Barry has gotten the Yoshi to fold, he's in good shape.
It's a $1,000 bet here.
How much more money does Kelsey have?
He doesn't have much, Dave. Probably maybe 400 or 500. No, maybe 1,000 left.
$1,000? That's it, huh? Hasn't been a good night for Kelsey, unfortunately.
Wow. And a call here by Frank Mariani.
And I think David's got to throw this away now. I mean, unfortunately for him. Although, unless you think, wait a second, now the pot is going to be $3,000 already. Do I have the odds to call just for my overcards?
He folds.
Yeah,
And here we go, 3,300 to the turn. The turn's a jack.
It changes nothing. Now, most players would just check the 7s behind, but I imagine...
Look at this. Frank's going to bet 2,000 here on the turn.
And he slams it in the table.
And how much money does Barry have there? It's a $5,300 pot, 2,000 a call.
I mean, it's hard to put Frank on a 10 here, but might you put Frank on, say, a heart draw with a jack?
Doesn't look like Barry has all that much left. I think this would put him all in here, Dave.
And he's going to call.
Yeah, he's going to make the all-in call here. I think that that the bet puts him all in, and I believe that we're going to go to the river here.
Frank needs a deuce or a 4.
Yep. And here we go to the river. The river's a king. No good.
Oh, wow, and look at that. And Kelsey would have made a straight, by the way.
Yep.
Kelsey had ace-queen, and that's what I was wondering. Should he have put the money in there with ace-queen?
Wow. And that pot is going to be almost $9,000 as we head out tonight.
Oh, man.
Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. It was very enjoyable. Hope it was as enjoyable for you out there as it was for us in here.
That was phenomenal.
We'll be back here again tomorrow night for a lower level restricted buy-in no-limit hold'em game. For everybody here in the booth, I'm Bart Hanson, and for Dave Tuckman, good night, everybody, from Live at the Bike.
Is here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the Bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.